from kickoff as Grand Valley entertains rival Saginaw Valley.
And Mark, we've got an absolute perfect day for football today. Grand Valley's campus is loaded with people. It's family day here. In fact, we're expecting a record crowd at Lubbers Stadium. We've got two football teams that have great programs. We got super size on the field, and we have some exceptional talent at the skill positions. We're expecting just a great game.
Grand Valley and Saginaw, toe-to-toe, up next.
The rushing attack is what concerns us today, and that's what we have to stop. They have a big offensive line, a big defensive line, and we're going to have to play real good football to beat them.
Grand Valley State University head football coach Tom Beck. Moments before kickoff here, Saginaw Valley and the Lakers of GVSU. I'm Mark Crawford along with the old coach Bill Brandell, and William, our key stat for this one, really just what Tom Beck mentioned a moment ago. You look at Grand Valley's stats, and per game, they run and pass for about 200 yards a game. Saginaw Valley does only one thing. They do it well.
Well, they do run the ball very well, but they're at a definite disadvantage with that passing statistic as it shows right there. When you're up against a team that has to run and can only run, most of the time you can come up with a defense to stop that. Grand Valley, on the other hand, very balanced with their offensive attack. You can't come into a game and just say, we'll stop the run or we'll stop the pass. You've got to stop the whole thing. So two different profiles, two different styles of play.
The Saginaw Valley Cardinals won the toss to start this football game. They deferred their choice to the second half, and so Grand Valley, with the choice then here to start the game, opted to receive. The Lakers come in at 4-0. As you can see, they are in their home blues. The Cardinals of Saginaw Valley are 2-2. All four of their games so far this year are conference games, and they are in their road white uniforms trimmed in red. We're expecting a great crowd here at Lubbers Stadium. The record here is about 4,848 on Family Day 1 year ago, and it is hoped that we'll see something in excess of 5,000 fans on hand today, which would be a new Grand Valley State University college football game record.
Well, there is a great crowd here already, Mark, and as you and I came onto the campus today, we saw people spread out all over, a lot of activities going on. They have really made families feel welcome here at Grand Valley. A beautiful day, and I think we are well on our way to that record crowd.
Kurt Albrecht will boot it away for the Cardinals of Saginaw Valley. Deep to return, John Sanders, the junior out of Grand Rapids Union. And Sanders watches this one bounce near the goal line, go out of bounds, flags fly.
Boy, that one just went out of bounds, Mark, as it went out somewhere between the 1 yard line and the goal line. It's going to cause a flag to be thrown and the ball will be re-kicked. But, boy, that was right in the corner.
I tell you, I thought for just a moment John Sanders was going to catch that ball, not realizing the sideline was there, and was going to step out of bounds at about the 1. But you're right, we're going to back up 5 yards, and Saginaw Valley going to start all over and boot again to Grand Valley State University. The Lakers, head coach Tom Beck, has not been particularly happy with his offense this year. That's odd to say when you figure they're averaging near 400 yards a game and 38 points, but they've been a little inconsistent, too many penalties for his liking, and they've been slow starting.
Well, we were here 2 weeks ago against Butler, and that was exactly the case there. A very slow start in the first half, lots of penalties. They really got it rolling in the second half. But against a good ball club, you just cannot do that. You got to come out with your guns blazing.
Good kick by Albrecht, and taking it at the 5 is John Sanders. And across the 20 and out to about the 27-yard line comes Sanders, stopped by Bryce Sturts for Saginaw Valley. And GVSU will start this football game first and 10. Mark it at their own 27-yard line. Quarterback will be the junior, 6'1", 185-pounder Jack Hull. He's had a great season again, completed 56% of his aerials, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions this year. In fact, it's been something like 9 ball games since Jack Hull has thrown an interception. Behind him, 2 great running backs like Lipsy, number 22, and Eric Lynch is number 34. 1 back now, and this is Lynch. And Lynch will go right up the middle. Has 10 yards and the first down on the initial play of this ball game. Eric Lynch, the powerful 215-pound junior from Woodhaven, picks up 12. It's first and 10.
And a little bit unlike Tom Beck is the first play of a ball game, Mark. He likes to come out and shake you up a little bit, throw that ball deep, run something fancy. This time, nothing fancy about it. Holy mackerel, right up the middle. Eric Lynch for about 11, 12 yards.
Might have been a message intended for the Cardinals, as Saginaw Valley has said all week long. They're going to stop the Laker running game and force Grand Valley to pass. Tom Beck and his club saying not so quick. 1st and 10 now. Football near the 40. Long count by Jack Hull. And now they'll throw over the middle, incomplete. Intended receiver was Todd Gasund. Bounced on the football and lost it. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, the pass just a little bit low as Todd Gasund came open coming across the middle at about the first down mark. Would have been close to a first down had it been completed. So the pass play goes for naught, but the running play on that first play from scrimmage kind of set the tone here.
2nd down, make it 10. And now we will see the more traditional two-backs behind Jack Hull. Ike Lipsy, and Lipsy is drilled behind the line of scrimmage. Rob Cook, the stud middle linebacker for Saginaw Valley, comes up and makes a big hit.
Boy, Rob Cook has got some great numbers. He's number 2 in the conference as far as tackles are concerned. He leads his team, of course. Here you'll see number 32 come across. He's got 69 tackles so far, and there you can see the good, solid hit, good tackling position.
Well, number 70 right there for Rob Cook. Interesting ball player. We'll talk more about him as the game moves along. He was all-conference on the offense as a fullback 2 years ago, all-conference as a defensive player last year, two-way player, in fact, last year. Hull will throw on 3rd. It's complete. Depends on the mark as to whether it's a first down. Michael Short wrestles it away from a Saginaw Valley player, and we'll see if it's enough for first down yardage.
Well, Kevin Ford is the defensive player that steps in front of the receiver here and actually tips the ball. It bounces around on people's arms and shoulders, Mark, and eventually is completed, and it's kind of hidden from our view up here by the player standing on the sideline. It's going to be right close to the 50-yard line. 49 is where it's marked.
It's going to be 4th and about a foot, and Grand Valley will go for it. Football right at midfield. Trips backfield now behind Jack Hull. And they've got the first down. Eric Lynch carries it across midfield and down to the 49 of Saginaw Valley. 1st and 10.
The stop by Jeff Fishback for the Cardinals. Not a whole lot of gain, but an important gain as the Lakers keep control of the ball, get that first down, and they are into the Cardinals' territory.
Laker fans, very quickly, 2 weeks from now, a couple of changes for homecoming. Everything's been moved up now. Game time is 12 noon against Ferris 2 weeks from now. So mark your calendars, October 13th, 12 noon is game time, GVSU and Ferris. 1st and 10. Hold a little quick inside pitch to Sanders. And Sanders rips off about 15 yards up the middle. Little razzle-dazzle for the Lakers.
Oh, that was a play of beauty. John Sanders coming from a setback position, kind of split out a little bit. And quarterback Jack Hull just kind of gives him that little toss forward, and there's a big hole right up the middle. No defenders around as the blocking had time to be established up front. Another big gain for the Lakers.
Coach, shovel pass, you'd call that, I guess. 1st and 10, Grand Valley on the march. Down at the 34 now of Saginaw Valley. Dive back is the big guy, Eric Lynch. And he picks his way down near the 30. Gain of about 3 or 4. It'll be 2nd down and still 7. 12:15 yet to play first quarter. We are just underway. Saginaw Valley and Grand Valley here on a beautiful, sunshiny family day from Lubbers Stadium in Allendale, Michigan. Mark Crawford and Bill Brandell, glad you joined us. And our crew is probably enjoying working today as well. Especially those outside, huh?
Great day. Gorgeous sunshine. Beautiful campus.
2nd down long. Lipsy inside the 20. First down yardage to the 19 for Ike Lipsy, the senior from Southfield Lathrop.
Well, Kevin Ford, the defensive back, making the stop, and you hate to see the running game being stopped by your defensive backs if you're the defensive coordinator for Saginaw Valley, as the backs for Grand Valley have just ripped through that front wall of defense and have been quickly into the defensive secondary.
Another first down. That's 4 now on this initial drive, says John Shute, working stats for us again today. 1st and 10, Grand Valley. Going to throw. The out is complete to Gesund inside the 15, down near the 13. Good gain of about 6. And I continue to be impressed, Bill, by the way that the Lakers under Tom Beck mix things up.
Well, they are very unpredictable. They do it all. The stop that time, once again, by Kevin Ford, the little quick out pass just before the snap of the ball. Kevin Ford, who was right up on the line of scrimmage, backed up and gave just enough room out there for the pass to be completed. But he was there to make the tackle, put the stop on.
2nd down 4 facing Grand Valley. On the march, approaching the 10-yard line of Saginaw Valley. This is Lynch. Bowls his way to the 5. Going to be 1st and goal for Grand Valley.
Boy, as you've mentioned, Mark, the mixing up of the plays has just been exceptional on this particular drive. The pass, the power run, the quick dive up the middle, the little shuffle pitch forward for the run. Just a little bit of everything going on here. Grand Valley just has so many weapons.
Well, Saginaw Valley is very big up front defensively, but Smith, Luzak, Sullivan, McGorry, and Strail, the big guys in the trenches for Grand Valley, own this football game so far. 1st and goal. Ike Lipsy can't find anything that time. I spotted number 59, Tom Garrity, in there, grabbing Lipsy around the waist and bringing him down. No gain. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Well, some big people up there. I saw George Miller also. He's a 6'2", 260-pound sophomore. One of the leading sackers for the Cardinals of Saginaw Valley.
Well, in fact, he'd been doing that off the bench. He was not a starter until this week and earned his starting spot for George Eiler's Lakers with his play in 3rd down specialty situations. Power I on 2nd and goal. People moving all over the place. Option right side. Flags go down as Hull knocks his way into the end zone. It was a very late flag on the right side, not the offsides that you might have expected from all the movement. So let's wait and see.
Well, there definitely was some movement defensively. What we'll have to wait and determine is, and we get the signal right there. It was on the defense, so the touchdown is going to stand, and the Lakers put the first 6 points on the board. Jack Hull takes the ball into the end zone on the option play, falls into the end zone as he had a defender hanging on him right at the goal line. But the first drive of the ball game, first possession, and the Lakers have 6 points.
Well, in a very impressive drive by Grand Valley, a dozen plays, 73 yards. The touchdown and the extra point packed on and good. 9:30 still to play in the first quarter. Lakers draw first blood.
It's not even my birthday.
You make every day a party.
Sure looks like a party.
I love your new party frosting.
Fun, huh?
I'm falling for you, you sweet talker, Betty Parker. I think your dinosaurs are wild, and I love your teddy bear. How can I resist you?
What more?
You sweet talker, Betty Parker. You sweet talker.
22, 23,
Having
24,
trouble sleeping at night?
25,
Kenny.
20, what?
Are you counting sheep again?
No, Eunice. I'm counting dead bugs in the light fixture. 26.
Next time, try a Big
27,
Sur water bath.
28.
The bookcase Shiloh is just $143.99. Or the 4-post Nassau is $259.99. Why put up with another sleepless night?
53.
Come to Big Sur
54,
Water Baths, America's largest
55.
waterbed retailer.
Bill Brandell, Mark Crawford back with you. Laker football here on 41 and Grand Valley. A very impressive drive to start this ball game. And Bill, we mentioned just before kickoff, Tom Beck has not been happy with the offense, but he could find very little, I would think, to fault the offense on that first drive. 12 plays, 73 yards, 5 minutes, 25 seconds, touchdown to start the game.
And as we already described, Mark, he did it a lot of different ways. He showed a lot of weapons in his offense, and that keeps the defense back on their heels. You just can't get geared to stop any one thing.
Grand Valley will boot it away, and Saginaw Valley will get their first chance with the football. Short kick fielded by Sturts at about the 22, and he's out across the 30 to the 32-yard line with it. Bryce Sturts on the carry, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cardinals of Saginaw Valley right there. Last man up from the bottom of the pile looked to be Steve Bruner, number 7 for GVSU. Saginaw Valley starting a true freshman at quarterback, Kyle Kennett out of Mount Pleasant. 2 more freshmen in the backfield with him, Brett Mullins and Brent Burris. They are an option club and run the option very well. Double tight end to start. Look like movement early. Flags go down. The option goes nowhere at all. Brent Burris might have gotten a yard or 2, but I think maybe Grand Valley jumps off sides.
And a little different look for Grand Valley defensively, Mark, as they went into a 50 defense that time. They had 5 men up on the line of scrimmage and brought their defensive backs also up very close. Just 1 deep back protecting against the pass. And, of course, Saginaw Valley, with the profile that they've shown so far this year, they can expect to see that kind of a defense. They have not thrown the ball at all. They'll just come right out and tell you, we're going to run it. And, of course, defensively, you tell your team, hey, we're going to stop that.
Well, it is a free 5 yards for Saginaw Valley as Grand Valley was in the neutral zone offside. So 1st and 5 now for George Eiler's Cardinals, who would desperately love a first down here. They don't want to kick the ball back to Grand Valley. 1st and 5. Football is at about the 37-yard line of Saginaw Valley. Option play, they take the dive man for a couple 2 yards. It was Brent Burris, the freshman from Arthur Hill, on the carry. They will mark it right at the 40, where it will be 2nd down and a long 2.
And the first 2 plays for the Cardinals have gone over their offensive right side behind guard Pat Fox. 340 pounds of junior from Sturgis, Michigan.
I think we saw Pat Fox play in high school. He was only about 290 or 300 then. I think he's grown a little. 2nd down. Same play. Dive back is Burris, and Burris has a yard or 2. Looks just short of the first down, and it'll be 3rd and about a yard.
Well, Mark, if you've got 1st and 5, you can afford to run that ball right there and get 2 yards of crack because you'll end up with the first down. But that's not going to make it on 1st and 10. So we can see that the offense for the Cardinals is setting up the option. They're running that dive play, and they're trying to draw in the defensive backs, the defensive secondary. Watch for it to come outside here pretty quick.
All right, 3rd down. Just about 1. First possession for Saginaw Valley, and it'll be 3rd down and about 6 as from the left side, Don McAnelli jumps a little bit early.
Well, the offensive lineman, this stutter count by the quarterback for Saginaw Valley has caused the Lakers some problems. This time he draws his own offensive lineman offside, and he puts himself right in the position I was talking about, Mark. Now it's going to be 3rd down and about 6 instead of 3rd and 1. That changes what you got to do with the ball here.
Well, I don't know if you're George Eiler if that does change what you do with the ball. Their profile this year is to run the ball something on the order of 90% of the time. In fact, their offense has gained about 1,000 yards, only 100 of it through the air this year. So play selection very heavily stilted toward the ground game, and I'm not too sure that George Eiler won't be content to maybe run that pitch outside right here and try and get those 6 yards.
Well, that was my point, Mark. I meant that he would not probably dive it right in the middle now. It's time to stretch out that option play that they run. He needs to pick up some fairly good yardage this time, and he hasn't been able to do that in the middle.
Well, I'm not sure what the delay was here. Oh, they had to tack 5 more seconds on the clock. The clock had moved down to 7:40, and that was a dead ball foul, I would guess, and so they had to add the 5 seconds. 7:45 still to play here. First quarter. 7-0. Grand Valley leads. They scored a touchdown on an impressive drive, their first possession. And now it's Saginaw Valley trying to keep the ball. They're looking 3rd down and 6. Kyle Kennett will throw. has a man in the flats. It's complete and good for the first down. How about that? Kyle Kennett completes the pass over there in the flats to Greg Hardman, the senior from Belleville, 1st and 10.
Well, the Cardinal fans have got to be cheering that one, as that's the first pass completion in a long time here for Saginaw Valley. Here you see Kyle Kennett step back, and boy, he's right on the money, Mark. With pass opportunities like that, you would think they'd go to that a little more often.
Saginaw Valley had gone 10 quarters without completing a pass. They try and go option right, and Kennett finds nothing there and turns completely around. I'm not sure I've ever seen an option go quite like that.
No, Kennett that time faked the dive man, was going out looking for the second part of his option. He decided, nope, that's too much blue. I'm going the other way.
Well, I'll tell you, good athletic play by Kyle Kennett, the freshman. He manages to make 2.5 yards out of it. It'll be 2nd and long. Running behind an offensive line that averages 6'3", 280 pounds. They have some real beef up front, does Saginaw Valley. They'll throw, same play only to the opposite flat, and this time Hardman busts a tackle, has another first down out near the 40 before he is knocked down by Grand Valley's Robert Bell.
Well, you and I were very interested to see Wood coach George Eiler go to the passing game a little bit more. As we talked about this ball game, and we've discussed for years, Mark, if you're a one-dimension team, a defense can load up on you. And when you start to throw the ball now, that changes the defense. They now have to protect all the areas of the field. That opens up the running game for you.
2 first downs now for Saginaw Valley on their first possession. They're down at the 40 of Grand Valley. And again, jumping early, same man on the left side, Don McAnally. The senior from Troy, Athens, trying to get the early jump.
Well, that stutter snap count that quarterback Kyle Kennett is using, as I mentioned before, very difficult for the Lakers to get used to, as they've been jumping around defensively a little bit. But now the Cardinals have had 2 illegal procedure plays. Their own lineman, same young man, jumping off sides here, moving before the ball is snapped.
Well, here's a tough place to start. 1st and 15 for Saginaw Valley. Kennett with the pro set behind him. Will Pro finally scrambles and will get about 5 yards before he is drilled down. Grand Valley's John Jancic, number 71, makes the first hit. They managed to get back the yards. They lost a penalty and maybe one more.
Well, Kyle Kennett does a good job once again here of scrambling with the ball. He's definitely looking downfield for a receiver. Can't find one. Some good coverage by the Lakers. Defensive secondary. He finally tucks the ball away and comes upfield. Picks up the penalty, +1.
Cleveland Moore, the man who chased him around in the pocket, couldn't get the sack. It's a 6-yard gain for Kyle Kennett. Make it 2nd down and 9. Dive back, couple of yards. And it's going to be 3rd down and still about 7. Saginaw Valley, very wide line splits that time. Jim Kramer makes the stop for Grand Valley. Clock continues to move with 4:50 still to play in the first quarter. Grand Valley 7, Saginaw Valley nothing. And I don't think there's any question we've got a record crowd here. They've pretty well filled the far side of the field up, which almost never happens because home folks choose to stay on this side. Chased around in the pocket again. Kennett gets a yard or two, but it's 4th down 5. Football at the 35, and Saginaw Valley's got a choice to make.
And as you mentioned, the crowd, Mark, there's still a lot of people coming in. As from our vantage point here, we can see out over the campus, and you see a lot of people still heading this way from different areas where there have been activities for this Family Day celebration here at Grand Valley.
There's a great look at some of this crowd, and we'll pass along the total attendance later on. Certainly better than 5,000 folks here. 4th down. Make it 5. Saginaw Valley will go. Big play in this football game. Out in the flats, they complete the pass, and good for first down yardage, and then some. Brett Mullins still on the loose, rambles inside the 20 and down to the 15-yard line. Brett Mullins Out of the backfield, the freshman gathered in the pass, broke one big tackle that got him the first down, and then he was loose.
Well, in the pass, Mark, was a difficult one. Credit Kyle Kennett with hitting his receiver in a very short area over on the sidelines. There's the straight drop back. He threads the needle over there on the sidelines. Now you'll see Mullins cover an awful lot of territory as he has to run probably 100 yards to pick up his gain of about 20.
Well, the Cardinals have thrown for just 103 yards in their first 4 games, but they're flying here against Grand Valley. It's 1st and 10. Option left. Kennett hit and drilled. Robert Bell plays it well from his linebacker position. Very little gain. It'll be 2nd down and still about 9.
Well, great defensive flow that time on the option play by the linebackers for Grand Valley. Bill Smith from that middle linebacker position got over there. Robert Bell was right where he belonged from his outside linebacker position, as his job is to take care of the quarterback. They let the dive man go to those defensive guards and tackles. Outside linebackers are responsible for the quarterback, and of course the cornerback and deep backs are responsible for the pitch man.
Whistles everywhere, and timeout is called by Saginaw Valley. A couple of the players didn't know where they were supposed to go, and lined up on the right-hand side. Quarterback Kyle Kennett tried to send him back to the left-hand side, and finally they realized they simply weren't going to get the play off, and so the coaching staff suggested a timeout. Man in the middle there with the silver hair is George Eiler, veteran head coach, Saginaw Valley, 8 years now. He's won 40 ball games there, but a legendary coach in the high school ranks from Saginaw Arthur Hill.
Well, the Valley in Michigan has always been known, Saginaw Valley, that is, for great high school football, and especially back a few years. The Valley football leagues and conferences over there were some of the best teams in the state. A lot of state records set over there, teams that were unscored upon through the 9-game regular season and scoring great numbers of points. And, of course, that was before the playoff system here in the state.
Well, it was my senior year, in fact, at Lansing Everett, 1973, football season of 73, that George Eiler's Arthur Hill team was 9-0, undefeated, unscored upon, won the mythical state championship. He had several other teams that were 8-1 and 9-0, and I think I added it up in 21 or 22 years of coaching. He has won 12 or 13 conference titles now, so very successful head coach. 2nd down, call it 9, facing Saginaw Valley. Down at the 14 of Grand Valley. They'll throw into the end zone, picked off. Interception by number 10, Todd Wood for Grand Valley. Turns back the Cardinals of Saginaw Valley.
Well, Todd Wood was right where he belonged with his cornerback spot. He had the deep outside corner of the end zone to take care of. He was right there, steps in front of the intended receiver. The ball is thrown before the receiver actually turns around. And so the defensive back, with his eye on the ball the whole time, had a better shot at breaking to the ball, and Todd Wood took advantage of that, and the Lakers will have the ball on their own 20-yard line.
Well, critical turnover as Saginaw Valley had to be building some momentum, and the players had to be feeling like they can come out here and compete against Grand Valley. But it's the Lakers leading 7-0 who now have the football back. Hull with one back behind him and 4 wide receivers. We'll give to that one back, Lynch. He's hit by Anthony Collier, the 275-pound junior tackle from Murray Wright. Gain of a couple, it's 2nd down 8. The clock is moving with 2:20 still to play in the first quarter.
And speaking of clock, Mark, the Cardinals do one thing that they wanted to anyway, and that is they ran some time off the clock. They wanted to keep the ball, have possession of it. That's one of the ways you can stop Tom Beck's powerful offense. Just don't let him have the ball.
2nd down long. Lipsy's in motion. Hull runs option, keeps it himself. And Hull is across the 40 and out near the 45-yard line. Gainer of a little better than 20 yards for Jack Hull on the quarterback keeper.
Well, Anthony Collier from his defensive tackle position misses the tackle here on Jack Hull. I think you'll see him right in there, and it's not Collier. It's number 70, I think, George Miller. And with the miss there on the option on the quarterback just streaks right up the middle. Good gainer. The Lakers on the move again.
1st and 10, Grand Valley, their own 42-yard line. Changing the play at the line of scrimmage is Jack Hull. The audible is a pitch to Lipsy. And Ike Lipsy has 3 or 4 yards before he is driven down. And some extracurriculars taking place right in front of the Grand Valley bench. Well, the field looks great, doesn't it? They told us they had spent a lot of extra time this week dressing things up. And it does look fantastic.
I also understand there was some heavy rainstorms in this area last night. Mark, you and I did not get any of that down in the Battle Creek area, but this field, if it was rained on, sure doesn't show it at all. It's in great condition and just painted beautifully.
2nd down 6, facing the Lakers of Grand Valley. Hull will throw, wants it all. Trying to run under the football was Michael Short. Caught it on one hop.
Well, Michael Short just could not quite catch up with the ball. His quarterback, Jack Hull, had a lot of pressure right in his face that time. He just kind of threw it up out there and was hoping that his receiver could run under it, but Michael Short just could not quite catch up with it this time.
3rd down, let's call it 6, facing Grand Valley State University. The Lakers right now are ranked number 3 in the nation in Division II. North Dakota State is number 1, Mississippi College number 2. Of course, in Division II, doesn't matter much where you're ranked now. There is a playoff at the end of the year. All that matters is who's number 1 then, I suppose. 3rd and 6, Hull will throw. Boy, he's got plenty of room to run. Instead finds a target, Ted Munkin. 1st down across midfield and down near the 35 of Saginaw Valley. Jack Hull could have run for that many.
Oh, he had his choice on that one as he rolled out to his offensive right side. He had all kinds of running room in front of him, but he spots number 15, Ted Munkin, downfield and just drills him right in the numbers. Great play for the Lakers of Grand Valley. They're on the march again.
1st and 10, Grand Valley.
44 yards passing, I think, so far for Hull. He needed 51 coming into this game to reach 4,000 career passing yards here at Grand Valley. So 7 more yards for Jack Hull, and he crosses the 4,000 barrier. 1 quarter has come and gone here at Lubbers Stadium. Grand Valley State University out front by 1. First and 10 for the Lakers. Football at the Saginaw Valley 36. 7-0 is our score. Ike Lipsy takes it up the middle for a couple of yards. We should say thank you to our major sponsor here on Laker football, the Goal Post Restaurant here in Allendale. You and I had lunch at the Goal Post today, and we understand that Saginaw Valley, win or lose, is going to take their whole 70-person contingent down to the Goal Post as soon as this ball game's over. We told the waitress, who is going to have to miss the game because she's waiting for the team to come, that the tips might be better if Saginaw Valley won, but she's rooting for the Lakers anyway. 2nd down 6, Grand Valley. Short is in motion. Hull wants to throw and throws it away. Good decision by Jack Hull, as coming like a freight train was Gerald Harvey, number 91, 6'2", 245-pounder. Out of Grand Rapids Union, in fact, interestingly enough, is Gerald Harvey.
From right next door here. Good-sized young man. Once again, we talked about size on the field. Both teams with some just huge people. Where are all these big guys coming from, Mark?
You and I talk about it on occasion. It's amazing the size of people today in athletics compared to just 10 and 15 years ago. 3rd down, long 6. Hull will throw, finds Short, and Short is hit immediately. Depends on the mark, and I think they've given him enough for the 1st down.
Kevin Ford on the stop again. Kevin's been a busy young man out there. He came into this game with 12 tackles on his season. He's got at least 3 or 4, I think, so far in this one.
And that is a 7-yard completion. They're going to measure, but the 7-yard completion gives Jack Hull 4,000 career yards. He's something like number 3 all-time at Grand Valley State University, and just a junior.
Well, we're going to get a measurement. Your prediction on this one was?
I believe he has it. And he does. 1st and 10. Lakers of Grand Valley. Down at the 26-yard line now of Saginaw Valley. Just underway second quarter. We played about 59 seconds, in fact, of the second quarter. On a beautiful fall afternoon. Really is a perfect day for football. About 63, 64 degrees at game time. Partly cloudy skies. Very little wind. Lipsy in motion now stands as a deep back in the eye. And there is Ike Lipsy. And down to the 20-yard line with it goes Ike Lipsy, who is just a fluid, smooth, beautiful running back.
Well, he's also getting a lot of help from those guys up front. The 5 inside linemen tackle to tackle for Saginaw Valley. They're 6'4.5" as far as height is concerned, and they average 270 pounds. Todd Luzak, Bill McGrory, Mike Sullivan getting his start at center today, Doug Strail, and Mark Smith. Those 5 people are a lot of beef and a lot of fine blocking up front.
And that Laker front line has been devastated by injuries. 3 of the young men they expected to be starting when the season began are out right now with injuries. 2nd down 4. Jamarl Island's first carry today has the first down yardage down near the 15. And it'll be 1st and 10 Grand Valley. Another impressive drive by the Lakers.
And that play, a prime example, Mark. Jamarl Island, not to take anything away from him, but there was just nobody there. There was a big hole there, and that just means that front wall for the Lakers are sealing people off, getting to those 4 down linemen for the Cardinals, and sealing off the linebackers.
Substitution in at fullback now comes Steve Bruner, number 7, so it's Bruner and Lipsy behind Hull on a 1st and 10 down at the Saginaw Valley 15. And there is Lipsy. Boy, he's hit as he reaches the line of scrimmage. Big stick by Mike Kostowski, 260-pound junior guard for Saginaw Valley. Be a gain of 2, 2nd down and 8.
Gain of 2 on the play brings up 2nd and 8.
Reminder, next Friday night, TV 41's Friday Night Football will be at Hastings, a Twin Valley showdown between Lakeview and Hastings. You were looking at the sideline there at Laker head football coach Tom Beck. And there you see Lakeview at Hastings next Friday, 11:30.
That ought to be a good one.
Oh, that's showdown time. 2 unbeatens in the Valley. 2nd and 8. Option right. Good pitch to Ike Lipsy. The defense is there, but Lipsy caroms off the first hit and manages to make 4 yards out of nothing.
Well, once again, Mark, just good football on both sides. Jack Hull does a great job of getting the ball out to his pitch man after he's stopped pretty well here. There you see the pitch. A good stop by the defense right there on the pitch man, but the ball carrier able to spin out of there and still make 3 or 4 yards.
Anthony Collier came up grabbing air after he and Ike Lipsy collide, and Lipsy carries it to the 10, where it'll be 3rd down and about 5. Lakers lead 7-0, trying to tack some more points on the scoreboard. Back to throw is Hull. Ball is tipped. Big number 91 again. Gerald Harvey got his paw up in the way, and it'll be 4th down 5.
Well, Gerald Harvey's coming from an outside linebacker position. I don't really think that is his position, but that's where he's lined up with this spread offensive formation for the Lakers. And he came just untouched that time and was right on top of Jack Hull and able to reach up and bat the ball down.
Miguel Cigarro tries from 27 yards out. It is good, say the officials. Packed 3 points up onto the board for Grand Valley. And with 10:51 still to play first half, Lakers 10-zip.
For great food and a relaxed atmosphere, your best choice is the Goalpost Family Restaurant in Allendale. Mexican and American foods are our specialty. Join us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. We can accommodate groups of 10, 20, up to 250 with our group seating and banquet facilities. And you can always score great desserts at the Goalpost Or if you choose, you can have ice cream right next door at the end zone. The Goalpost Family Restaurant on Lake Michigan Drive in Allendale.
I'm Joe Montana. A few months ago, I challenged any Diet Coke celebrity to come on TV and take a blind taste test against Diet Pepsi. But no one had the courage to show up, so I'm going to take the test myself. Okay, next. Okay, who's the wise guy?
I don't know, but I got the right one, baby.
Diet Pepsi with 100% NutraSweet.
The Grand Valley State University Department of Athletics thanks Pepsi-Cola for their support of this telecast.
How'd you like to win up to $6,000 a month just by using your telephone less than 15 minutes every day? Well, now you can. Call 1-900-860-4005 and enjoy the fun of playing the new Hollywood Squares telephone game. Get 3 squares in a row and you can win $100 instantly, up to $200 a day. That's $6,000 a month if you won 2 games every day.
And get all the excitement of Hollywood Squares right on your touch-tone phone.
Call now. Call anytime. 1-900-860-4005. $2 for the first minute, $1 each additional minute. Celebrity voices impersonated.
Hard to believe, but there are times when a smaller amount of Pop Secret popcorn is perfect. Introducing Pop Secret Singles, a single serving of perfect popcorn.
Betty Crocker says, quote, only 100% Idaho russet potatoes, real cheddar cheese, and a very special taste. Say au gratin potatoes from Betty Crocker and say something special.
My daughter's home from college not one day and already with the questions.
Good morning.
Since when have you been eating Cheerios, she asked. Since I learned getting good nutrition can be simple, I told her. No way nutrition's simple, she said. But that's where you're wrong. Good nutrition's as simple as Cheerios, I told her. Cheerios is whole grain oats with all the oat bran. Nutrition made simple. Phi Beta Kappa, she still can learn a thing from her old man.
Want a bowl or what? Okay, Dad, I'll have a bowl.
Mark Crawford, Bill Brandell back with you from Lubbers Stadium on the campus of Grand Valley State University. 10-0, as you see, is our score. Grand Valley out front. Scored 7 points on their initial possession. First quarter, a 6-yard option run by Jack Hull. Extra point was good. 7-0 at the end of one. And now here, early second quarter, they've tacked on a 27-yard Miguel Cigarro field goal.
For the kickoff by number 9, Miguel Cigarro.
And Cigarro will boot it away. Fielded at about the 15-yard line by Saginaw Valley and out to about the 25. Come the Cardinals. And it'll be 1st and 10. Saginaw Valley from their own 26.
Well, the last time the Cardinals had the ball, Mark, they moved the ball very well offensively. They used the pass. First time they have completed a pass in a number of quarters, about 10, I believe. But they took advantage of a good little running game. They got started, and that opened up the passing game for them. And then they lost the ball by way of the interception and were thwarted with no points. But they did have an offense moving.
Well, they'll try to run it right side. Brett Mullins, the freshman tailback, might have found a yard or two out there.
A little counter play that time by the Cardinals as Todd Wood, coming in from his cornerback position on a little cutback play, was able to make the stop.
Let's give them 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and about 7. Kyle Kennett is a true freshman at quarterback for Saginaw Valley. First couple of games, they started Brent Alfano, a sophomore. But Kennett won the job because he runs the option better. All kinds of movement on the line. Looked like Grand Valley initiated the contact, so it might be 5 free yards for Saginaw Valley.
Once again, Saginaw Valley draws the defense off as that stuttered count, I believe, has been tough to handle out there. I have not heard it yet, but he's doing something to make people move because he's had a couple of his own linemen move also.
Well, audibly, with his voice, he's allowed to do pretty much whatever he wants, right? He simply can't bob his head and move his body.
Exactly.
It is 5 free yards for the Cardinals of Saginaw Valley. They'll look at 2nd down and 2. Football is at their own 34-yard line. They trail 10-0. There is Kyle Kennett, the freshman quarterback. He's already thrown for about 60 yards in this ball game.
31, John
First down carry by John Johnson, number 31, and Charles Scipio, who was the conference defensive player of the week last week. The 225-pound senior makes the stop, but it's 1st and 10, Saginaw Valley.
The defense for the Lakers, Mark, is really geared up to stop the run once again. They have their 4 down people, and then immediately behind them they have 5 linebackers. Really no deep defensive backs at all.
Pitch right side. Bill, you mentioned this is what they'd look for, and they do look for it. Mullins almost takes it all the way. Carries to the 40. Had one man to beat.
Well, if you get by that first wave of defenders, as we just mentioned, there's just nobody deep, and it was the last man. That one could have gone all the way, Mark. Great play, as obviously the coaching staff for Saginaw Valley upstairs has spotted the fact that there are at least 9 defenders within 3 yards of the football for the Lakers.
Saginaw Valley tacks on another first down. 1st and 10 now at the 40 of Grand Valley. Kyle Kennett, the freshman, has run the offense well. He'll go right side again to the tailback, and this time nothing doing. Is having a great ball game out there is Todd Wood. Has an interception, stops that play behind the line of scrimmage, has made 3 other tackles, says John Shute. So great ball game for Todd Wood, the junior corner.
Well, that time the Cardinals try to get outside to the short side of the field, and that's just where a coach defensively would like you to run. There's no room to go out there wide. You got a sideline that never misses a tackle. The defensive backs can kind of pin the ball carrier to the sideline, and it went for a loss.
It'll be 2nd down and 11 facing Saginaw Valley. High formation behind Kennett. Dive back, I think, was John Johnson again. And he got back to the original line of scrimmage and maybe another yard, but it'll be 3rd and a good 9 facing the Cardinals of Saginaw Valley. Jim Kramer makes the stop along with Robert Bell for Grand Valley. Both these teams have been devastated by injuries this year. As mentioned, Grand Valley lost 3 of their starting linemen. Saginaw Valley lost 3 starters in an automobile accident, 2 of them for the season, before fall drills began, about a week before fall drills. Little look-in pass is tipped by one of the Lakers. I think Robert Bell was the guy who got his hand on it. At any rate, they lost 3 guys in that automobile accident. Just before the first game, they lost their starting tailback. He still hasn't played. And then last week, they lost a gentleman they consider the best cornerback in the league to a knee injury. Has 4 interceptions, Dave Cook. So they've been hurt. Punt time. Phil Schaefer stands back at his own 45. Does a good job fielding the snap. And kind of wobbles one down at about the 10-yard line. Will be fielded on a hop.
Oh, my.
By the Lakers. Robert Hunt from Grand Valley decided to take that one on one hop, and boy, he was met just as he grabbed the football. Did a good job hanging on.
Well, he did, as he was instantly reversed here by the punt coverage. Watch the defender come in right here, and bingo, you're going the other way.
Brett Mullins, the freshman tailback who takes a lot of hits on offense, had the pleasure of making one there, I guess. 1st and 10. Grand Valley will start at their own 13-yard line. 7:25 still to play first half. It is Grand Valley 10, Saginaw Valley nothing. Been a good, entertaining football game. Lakers give it to Ike Lipsy, and he'll have the line of scrimmage and not much more. Great penetration again by Gerald Harvey. Gerald Harvey out of Grand Rapids Union. Must have some friends and relatives here at the stadium watching him today. He's playing great football.
Well, he is. On our 2 deep lineups, he's in there at the middle linebacker spot. He's very active from in there. Moving around quite a bit. The defense really changing up quite often here against Grand Valley with their varied attack.
2nd down 10, facing Grand Valley. Lakers will throw. Now forced out of the pocket is Hull. And Hull will be close to the first down. Stops, I think, a yard or 2 short. by the defense.
Well, I think Jack Hull got the ball up over the 20-yard line, but not enough for the first down. Once again, good defensive pressure by the Cardinal defense here. As Jack Hull is forced to get out of the pocket, he finds a little running room out there, does a little pump fake, gets one of the defenders to commit, and is able to move upfield for positive yardage, but not enough for the first down.
Tackle is made by Rob Cook, number 32. Lorenzo Clark, number 2, in on it as well. Third down, let's call it 3. Whistles, late flag, and delay of game as the Lakers didn't get it off. And it'll be third down and 8. Well, coaches don't like that call.
Oh, you never like that free 5 yards against your offense. Yards down here are too hard to come by, Mark. They're coming grudgingly against this stout Cardinal defense. You just hate to give up 5 of them like that.
Let's give some quick credit to our officiating crew. Eric Harmon, Lee Aldridge, Larry Good, Gordon McCain, George Plezak, and George King, all from down in Indiana, were fogged in this morning. They couldn't get a plane up here, and so they had to find alternate transportation, which means they hopped in a car and drove. But they made it in time for the game and have done a good job. Third down 8. Little reverse. Short doesn't find anything there. Staying home and making the good play, Mike Kostowski, number 63. And 4th, deep in their own territory, Grand Valley will be forced to punt. Saginaw Valley has blocked some punts this year. I got to believe they're going to be coming here, Bill.
Well, this is a great spot to put the punt block on, because even with no return, you're going to get the ball in great field position. So a gamble here is probably worth the risk.
Sagaro is standing in his own end zone. Lorenzo Clark is deep to try the return. Sagaro gets it away, and Clark will field it at his own 45. And boy, Clark finds nothing at all. What a great game Todd Wood is having for Grand Valley.
Well, that's great coverage as the Cardinals were coming, as they put 9 people right up in the face of the Lakers. And this is what happens, Mark, if you don't block the punt. There's nobody down to help your return man, and he just goes nowhere. Credit Sagaro with a great kick also, as he had pressure deep down there in his end zone, and he bangs his foot into the ball and gets his back away from the goal line a little bit for his team.
Here's a big possession for Saginaw Valley. 5:10 still to play first half. They only trail 10-0, and they are 58 yards away from the end zone. The Cardinals need to march it down and try and score. Good pitch out here to Mullins, and Mullins has about 5 yards. Gets near the midfield stripe before he is ridden to the ground by Robert Bell from Ottawa Hills. Bart Duffield there as well.
Well, Bart Duffield, the man that had the first shot at Mullins as he came around the corner, made a dive at him, made him stumble and change his route just a little bit. Mullins with a good job, though, turning the corner and getting some positive yards.
Second down. Long 5, short 6. Take your pick. Little pass out there in the flats, complete to Hardman. And he'll find a yard or 2, and that is it before he is ripped to the ground. Hardy Farr, I think number 42 over there, makes the stop. And it's 3rd and still 4.
I think Mike Flannery also over there, but Hardy Farr, the one that catches up. That's a neat little pass, Mark, as you see. The pass goes to the inside of the 2 split receivers. The split man then just comes and kind of picks for his teammate, and he tries to get around him and get to the outside, but the defense are right where they belong.
3rd down. Saginaw Valley near midfield. Runs the option. All kinds of trouble for Kennett. He'll lose 2 or 3 yards. Super defense. Bell was out there. Had plenty of help out there as well from Bill Smith.
Well, this play was just going to go absolutely nowhere right from the beginning. It's as though Grand Valley knew what was coming, Mark. They had all 11 people within 3 yards of the ball that time. Just no opportunity at all for the Cardinals to make any gain by way of the run.
It is 4th and punt now for Saginaw Valley. Lakers come try for the block. Just miss.
Oh, my, what a punt.
Fielded at about the 15-yard line and out to about the 20 with it. Comes Robert Hunt. And Grand Valley starts 1st and 10 there. 3:10 still to play in the first half. And I'm going to make a guess here. Tom Beck is not going to be satisfied with 10-0. He's going to try and put more points on the board here.
Well, I would agree 100% with that. Tom Beck does not like to slow his offense down at all, and definitely wants to get his team used to getting out of the blocks early, so he's not going to put the slowdown tactics to work at all. I would bet he's got his whole offense.
Eric Lynch is the lone man in the backfield behind Jack Hull. Ike Lipsy is split out to the close side of the field. Hull back to throw, completes it to Lynch, the short man, who picks up about 10 yards before he's knocked out of bounds in front of the Grand Valley State University bench.
Well, and that's the kind of offense that the Lakers need here as they stop the clock, get the good gain, but stop the clock also. Here comes a little pass out here to Eric Lynch. Just an easy pass to catch, and then Lynch, of course, a great ball carrier on his own, gets down the sideline, steps out of bounds.
Right there to get a piece of him, Rob Cook again from his middle linebacker spot. Boy, he roams the field, but you can't do it alone. It is a 1st and 10 for Grand Valley. 3:05 showing on the clock. Hull gives off to Ike Lipsy, and there is very little there for Ike Lipsy as Saginaw Valley playing the run tough. Stop is made by Anthony Collier, big number 92. Coming up at the half, Bill, we will give folks a chance to meet Dr. Aaron Lubbers, who is the president of Grand Valley State University. In fact, has been for a good number of years and has helped this university grow. It is the fastest growing university, in fact, in the state of Michigan. And you will be down on the sidelines, and we'll have a fast talk with head coach Tom Beck. All coming up at the half here on TV 41's coverage of Laker football. 2nd down. 9. Hull fakes and fires. Short catches it out near midfield. Boy, that play didn't work the way it was supposed to as Michael Short was held up by the defensive back. But in the end, great athletic ability by Michael Short, catching the football and making the gain.
Well, the pass is right on the money as it's threading the needle again here. Kevin Ford right there where he belongs defensively, but he gets turned around. And Short able to take the ball right over the outstretched arms of Kevin Ford. Nice gain for the Lakers.
Well, Kevin Ford, the freshman, being victimized a little bit, but you'd have to say he's played a pretty good football game out there for Saginaw Valley. He's been where he's supposed to be. Hull wants to throw, looks all over. Good protection. And finally will get himself out of bounds before number 32, Rob Cook, can close in on him.
I think I'd get out of bounds in a hurry, too. When Rob Cook comes at you, he comes at you. He's about a 200-pounder, but he'll get all 200 pounds to get a piece of you if he has the chance.
It's going to be a gain of about 9. It's 2nd and 1. In fact, Cook walked over to Jack Hull as they both walked back toward their huddles and said something to him. Slapped him in the rear end and I think invited him next time to go ahead and stay inbounds and turn it up a little further. 2nd down short. 1:55 still to play first half. Lakers are driving. Lynch breaks tackles, has the 1st down, and gets out of bounds. Stopped again by number 32, Rob Cook.
Well, we're going to call his name all day, I have a feeling, as Rob Cook from that middle linebacker spot once again flows over to the short side of the field and able to put the stop. But the Lakers picking up yardage, Mark, and using the clock very well. We've still got 1:56 left in this first half.
Rob Cook averages 17 tackles a game for Saginaw Valley. John Shute has him credited with 7 so far here today. 1st and 10, Grand Valley. Plenty of time given their offense. Still almost 2 minutes to play here first half. 2nd back through is Bruner, and Bruner's inside the 20. 15-yard gain for Steve Bruner.
Once again, the offensive line for the Lakers being very dominant. They just moved the defensive front wall for the Cardinals out of the way, shielded the linebackers, screened them off, and a nice gain right up the center for the Lakers.
1st and 10 again. You hear a coach from Saginaw Valley yelling to the defense to suck it up and get tough. Lakers give to Lynch. Fights forward for a yard or 2 off left side. I saw Derek Townsend, number 97, fall on top of the play. It'll be 2nd down 8. Clock is moving, shows 1:20 still to play in this first half. 10-0 is our score, Grand Valley.
Important defensive stand now for the Cardinals, Mark. They need to keep the score right here at 10.
Hull will throw. Pressure comes and Hull goes down. Gerald Harvey, number 91 again, the Grand Rapids Union player, makes the hit. Timeout called by Grand Valley. 58 seconds left here first half. 10-zip Laker lead.
Summer is the season for construction, and you can find all the tools you need at Fader Equipment in Kalamazoo. Everything from masonry drills to trenchers to bobcats are available for you to rent. But Fader also sells equipment like Bosch and Skill power tools, all at 25% off the list price. If you're a small contractor or a major industry, Fader Equipment is your source for all the supplies you need to get the job done right. Fader Equipment Incorporated, 2203 East Michigan, Kalamazoo.
Remember the pancakes we had last Sunday?
How can I forget them? They're still here.
From today on, I'm making Bisquick pancakes. They're light, fluffy, and Bisquick doesn't have cholesterol. What do you think about that?
I think. I love you.
Bisquick makes today's pancakes.
Betty Crocker says, quote, only 100% Idaho russet potatoes plus a rich creamy sauce equals a taste you'll love. Say scalloped potatoes from Betty Crocker and say something special.
This is going to be a big day.
Dick Clark is your host on the latest breaking game show, The Challengers.
It all depends on the strategy now, and the challenge is yours. Let's go play.
TV's first game show that's timely and topical.
Last week, this woman picked up the Emmy for Best Actress in a Comedy Series for what role?
It all adds up to huge cash winnings.
$80,000.
The Challengers.
Weeknights at 7 on 41. Here's a look at the community events on the 41 clipboard.
The Calhoun County chapter of the American Red Cross needs volunteers to help with their blood donation program. If you have extra time and you'd like to help out, contact the chapter house at 962-7528. Continuing at Kalamazoo's New Vic Theater is the area premiere of Lee Blessing's A Walk in the Woods, running now through October 13th. For show dates and for reservations, call 381-3328. The Kent Special Riding Program is the 4-H horseback riding for handicappers program in Kent County. The program holds 3 6-week sessions each fall. Call 774-3265.
If your nonprofit organization has an announcement, send it 2 weeks in advance to 41 Clipboard, P.O. Box 1616, Battle Creek, Michigan, 49016.
You look down the Grand Valley State University sideline. The Lakers lead 10-0 against a gritty, determined bunch of Saginaw Valley Cardinals. It is 3rd down and about 11 facing Grand Valley. They are certainly within Miguel Segaro's field goal range, but Tom Beck and the Brain Trust from Grand Valley, I'm sure, want nothing to do with a field goal right now.
No, they're looking at 3rd down, and once again with Tom Beck's offense, 3rd and 11 seems like a long way, but not when you have as many weapons as the Lakers have.
Hull barks out the signals. There's movement on the line, but I did not see a flag. Hull throws it over the middle, incomplete. No flags, so it'll be 4th down and 11.
Well, credit that Saginaw Valley defense, Mark. They are right where they belong. 2 plays in a row. The sack on 2nd down was really a coverage sack as the defensive backs had all of the Laker receivers covered. This time, nobody broke open once again. The ball goes incomplete.
Segara is in to try a 37-yarder. Kick is up and no good. And so Saginaw Valley turns away the Lakers with 49 seconds still to play here first half.
Well, I think the Cardinals, Mark, really can get a lift from that as they are only 10 points down, as you've mentioned. And one of their whole objectives in this ball game was to keep the score down, to occupy the ball as much as they could. And really, just being 10 points down at this point has got to be pretty good feeling for them.
Here comes Saginaw Valley. Doubtful, I would think, that the Cardinals will do anything too fancy here. We have a quarterback change. Brent Alfano is in now, number 11. And Alfano gives to Brett Mullins. Good 10-yard carry. And George Eiler looking on with some interest from the far side. May be willing to think about chasing some points here. There are 41 seconds showing on the clock. It's 10-0.
Well, Brett Mullins kind of got bent in half that time, Mark, as he was tackled, and he's a hurting young man right now as the trainers have come out to look at him. So we're going to have play held up here momentarily.
Let's take a look again, Bill, and see if we can pick it up.
Well, I watched the tackle. Here comes Mullen right through the line. It's not there, but right here at the end of the play, watch how he is twisted and kind of bent in half here. You'll see his legs are underneath him, and then he's just kind of bent and spun around there. He got worked over pretty good.
Well, George Eiler, conversation with his quarterback, Brent Alfano, on the far sideline. I wonder if something's happened to Kyle Kennett. I thought he's run the offense fairly well.
Well, on the other hand, Alfano was supposed to be the starter. Mark, you know, I've talked a little bit about the perspective before this team actually showed up on the field, and their profile was completely different than the team that we see on the field today. And this is one of the young men that they had counted on to be their quarterback, and he had just not gotten the job done early in this season, and just had not had his rhythm and timing, and they replaced him with a young freshman.
Well, the applause for Brett Mullins, the freshman, as he is up and fine, and will head off the field. And it's 1st and 10 for the Cardinals of Saginaw Valley. Football at their own 31. They would realistically need to pick up about 50 yards here to have any kind of a legitimate field goal chance. Alfano's going to throw, or planned on throwing anyway. Pulled the football in then and ran into Cleveland Moore.
Well, that's a lot of young men once again to move into. 6'2", 225, just a freshman for the Lakers, Cleveland Moore.
And it appears no one's going to stop the clock. We're down now to 10 seconds remaining here in the first half, and both Saginaw Valley and Grand Valley seem willing to just let this one tick away. And the teams will head to the blockhouses. It is halftime here at Lubbers Stadium. Grand Valley State University out front by 10.
For great food and a relaxed atmosphere, your best choice is the Goalpost Family Restaurant in Allendale. Mexican and American foods are our specialty. Join us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. We can accommodate groups of 10, 20, up to 250 with our group seating and banquet facilities. And you can always score great desserts at the Goalpost. Or if you choose, you can have ice cream right next door at the end zone. The Goalpost Family Restaurant on Lake Michigan Drive in Allendale.
The GVSU Department of Athletics thanks Midwest Sports Services, everything you need for your sporting event, for supporting this telecast.
Earthwise 41, a special project of WUHQ TV 41.
Wherever you happen to be right now, is there a light on that doesn't need to be on? Turn it off and make a habit of it. Lighting accounts for 20% of all electricity use in this country. And if we can start conserving that electricity, we can cut back on the carbon dioxide emissions that contribute heavily to problems like the greenhouse effect and acid rain. So Earthwise 41, tip number 10, is to turn off unnecessary lights at home or the office. And when you do have the lights on, consider using more energy-efficient bulbs, like compact fluorescents or tungsten halogen incandescents. Some may be more expensive, but the energy and subsequent cost savings will more than make up for it.
If you would like to know more, send a stamped, self-addressed envelope to Earthwise 41.
Chuck Woolery here.
You realize that 15 years ago, you couldn't even have said that on television?
You know, sometimes the couples on Love Connection absolutely amaze me.
I told him I was wearing sexy underwear right then.
And they really make me laugh, too.
He's not as ugly as I thought he was being.
So join me for all the fun.
Weeknights at 7:30 on 41.
Back with you on the campus of Grand Valley State University. Our score 10-0 at the half. The Lakers of Grand Valley are out front of Saginaw Valley State University. I'm Mark Crawford. Bill Brandell is down on the field, and we'll talk with Laker head football coach Tom Beck within a couple of moments. But we are joined in the booth by Dr. Aaron Lubbers, who is the president of Grand Valley State University and the namesake, really, of this university stadium. And want to talk with you, Dr. Lubbers, briefly about the other side of the campus here. We've shown folks a lot in terms of athletics here and the great football program you have, but there is a wonderful academic side to Grand Valley State University as well.
Well, there certainly is. We have over 75 academic programs, and we have graduate courses as well as undergraduate courses. We have about 12,000 students.
You have been, the last few years, the fastest growing university in Michigan.
Yes, we have. I think for a couple of reasons. One, we're living, we have a dynamic area in which we live, and there are lots of people who want to come to Grand Valley. But it's more than the area, it's statewide. I think people are finding that not only the academic programs are what they want, but this is a nice community in which to live.
You've been here about 2 decades now. You came shortly after the Pioneer class graduated, a class of about 220, I think, now, and watched this university grow and overseen that. And I'll tell you, the thing that's impressed me most, having been at Grand Valley here the last few weeks in meetings and to football games, is the infrastructure of this university is just beautiful.
I think it's one of the most beautiful campuses in the country. And I believe that's one of the reasons why we're so attractive to students. It's a nice atmosphere in which to live. In addition to that, I think generally people care about people here. And we try to encourage that. Rather than being just an education factory, we want to be a place where people can live happily and comfortably and in good relationships, as well as have a strong academic program.
I think we want to check in with Bill Brandell down on the field. I think Tom Beck is with Bill, and so let's listen in real quickly and see what Tom thought about that first half of play.
Coach Beck, it's 10-0 here at halftime. Your Lakers have been real potent defensively. Your offense slowed down a little bit. Are you satisfied? What can we expect to see in the second half?
Well, we're not satisfied, of course. So we're satisfied that they don't have any points on the board. But we drove down here, and we had to settle for a field goal once, and came up short on the second time, and we just have to be more consistent. You know, it sounds like the same story every week, but it is.
Okay, good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bill, and Coach Beck and Dr. Lubbers. We want to thank you both for the opportunity TV 41 has had for working with Grand Valley State University this year. And I want to tell you that for all of us on the west side of the state, this is a wonderful university, and keep up the good work in terms of growing Grand Valley.
Well, thanks, and it's fun to work with you, too. Hope you'll be here a long time.
I have to ask you one question. Most folks don't have anything named after them until they're dead and gone. What's it like having a stadium named after you while you're still alive?
Well, there's a little irony to it since I never played football.
Well, you're watching plenty of football, I know, and you enjoy football.
I love football. I love to watch it.
Dr. Aaron Lubbers, thank you for joining us. Halftime, it is 10-0.
Thank you.
Bill is making his way back up from the sideline. You remember the coin toss before this football game, won by Saginaw Valley, and the Cardinals deferred their choice to the second half, and will now, I'm sure, receive the football to start the second half of play. Quick look at our stats at the half. Lakers about 2-1 in terms of total offense, 196 yards to 104. Saginaw Valley's been effective through the air a little bit, 43 yards passing, and while it doesn't sound like much, for them that's quite a bit. They'd only thrown for about 100 all year prior to this. The one turnover really stands out, as Saginaw Valley was driving and down at about the 10 or 15 yard line of Grand Valley when they threw that interception into the end zone, picked off by Grand Valley's Todd Wood, who has had a super game defensively. And the penalties all even, as you see, 3 for each team, 15 yards. Grand Valley will boot it away. Miguel Segarro, number 9, puts the foot into it. Good deep kick all the way back to the end zone. Goes Sturts. And his return out short of the 20-yard line. Gets it to about the 17, 18-yard line. Jeff Sattler from Cadillac, Michigan, a freshman, makes the stop, and Saginaw Valley will start there, 1st and 10. Bill Brandell has rejoined us after the hike up to the booth, and Coach Tom Beck not too satisfied.
No, not too satisfied, Mark. As we mentioned down there, he'd like to see more points on the board. His defense, of course, doing a great job stopping that running game for the Cardinals, but he wants to get that offense in gear a little bit better.
And off to the tailback, Brett Mullins. You remember he went off injured very late in the first half. Obviously, he's okay. Brent Alfano, the sophomore, is starting at quarterback here, second half. Stop that time was made by Mark Bland, number 44 for Grand Valley. We are just underway. Second half, 5,400, the unofficial attendance here. 5,400, and that is a new Grand Valley State University record. Old record was about 4,800, so they smashed that record here today. Great crowd. Second down, 5. Mullins again goes down hard again at the hands of Mark Bland, and it'll be 3rd down and about 2.
Well, Mark Bland stays at home. He's the defensive end for the Lakers, and here you'll see the cutback run, and it just comes right into the arms of Mark Bland, and he is effective with his tackle. Doesn't get a real shoulder on the ball carrier, but a sure-handed tackle, and brings him down.
3rd down, about 3. Big play for Saginaw Valley, the initial drive of the second half. Alfano willing to throw. Left-hander launches it well out of the reach of any receiver. It's 4th down and time to punt. I keep scanning the sidelines trying to find Kyle Kenneth, the freshman. I thought he played a very good first half, and he's standing over there near head coach George Eiler. Looks fine. I guess he was simply pulled.
Well, I think just a switch. As you said, Mark, we didn't see him get hurt. You never can tell. There can be injuries that can bother a quarterback that you really don't see. A finger that's jammed or...
Schaefer just does get the punt off. Hunt fumbles it, and it's covered by Saginaw Valley. I think it's number 51, Ron Roop, that will recover the fumble. And Saginaw Valley will get great field position, 1st and 10, down at the 47 of Grand Valley.
Well,
boy,
Ron,
that punt almost blocked, or maybe partially blocked, Bill.
Well, the ball seemed to be acting kind of funny in the air. There was some great pressure there, and Ron Roop then downfield to cover that thing, and the first really big error by the Lakers, and gives the Cardinals some good field position, lets them keep possession of the ball, and that's one of their goals in this ball game, hang on to the ball offensively.
10-0, the Lakers of Grand Valley lead. Dive play will turn out a couple 2 or 3 yards for Saginaw Valley. Brent Burris on the carry. Bill Smith from his middle linebacker spot for Grand Valley in on the stop. It'll be 2nd down and still about 8. Reminder, our next Laker football here on 41 will be in 2 weeks, October the 13th, when Ferris will be in town. That's homecoming. And if you're coming to the game, kickoff again will be at 12 noon for that one. Alfano now, I formation behind him. 2 wide outs to the top of your screen. He'll throw that little screen they've been throwing all day. Aaron Rubio has a couple 3 or 4 yards down near the 40-yard line with it.
I think I saw
there is a flag.
Flag down there at that position. I would bet something on the tackle, Mark. Maybe a face mask?
And it is a face mask. Eric Harmon, our referee, signals face mask. Let's watch.
Well, here you see the receiver just slip a little tackle, and he'll move upfield 3 or 4 yards, and there you see the hand out on the face mask. Good call by our officials, right on top of the play, and that's going to be some big yardage marked off against the Lakers. 2 critical mistakes here in a row, Mark.
Looks like Ken Marnion just kind of overran the play and reaching back trying to get a hand on Aaron Rubio. Just got it caught up there in the face mask. It'll be 1st and 10. Saginaw Valley football now down at about the 28-yard line of Grand Valley. as the Cardinals, trailing by 10, trying to cut into that margin. Brent Alfano will run off right side. Fumble! Covered by the Lakers. Brent Mullins, the running back, was sandwiched by a couple of Grand Valley players.
And one of those players is still down on the field, right?
Jim Kramer covers the fumble. Well, I don't know who made the hit.
Well, Jim Kramer was obviously one of them as he was celebrating. See if we can see it here. There's Mullins, and you're right, a sandwich, and the ball just pops right out of there. Todd Wood. Boy, we called his number a lot of times today, Mark.
Well, you saw the player there who was down. It looks like it's number 53, Bill Smith, the middle linebacker. 12:05, still to play in the third. Lakers 10-0.
For great food and a relaxed atmosphere, your best choice is the Goalpost Family Restaurant in Allendale. Mexican and American foods are our specialty. Join us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. We can accommodate groups of 10, 20, up to 250 with our group seating and banquet facilities. And you can always score great desserts at the Goalpost. Or if you choose, you can have ice cream right next door at the end zone. The Goalpost Family Restaurant on Lake Michigan Drive in Allendale.
The Grand Valley State University Department of Athletics thanks Student Life for their sponsorship of Family Day 1990.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed days, the dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
If you're not recycling, you're throwing it all away.
It's the latest breaking game show.
This woman picked up the Emmy for Best Actress in a Comedy Series for what role?
Dick Clark is your host for excitement and huge cash prizes.
$80,000.
Let's go for it.
Play along with the challengers.
Weeknights at 7 on 41.
Bill Smith off the field under his own power, doing fine, and the Lakers on the turnover take over 1st and 10 at their own 30. Jack Hall runs option, looks for a receiver, spins away from a tackler or two, and will finally get a couple of yards. Number 7, Kevin Ford, finally takes Jack Hall down, but not before about 3 or 4 missed tackles.
Well, Jack Hall definitely in a passing mode, dropped back, just couldn't find anybody open. Had a lot of pressure from the inside then from the Cardinals, but dipped around, danced, twisted, turned. Finally was brought down, but almost got away up the middle.
Second down, let's call it 9, facing Grand Valley. Hall will run the option. Pitchman is Ike Lipsy, turns the corner, and Lipsy has the first down yardage out across the 40.
Oh, that
knocked
play
out of bounds by Brad Diornelis.
That play is fun to watch. Jack Hall that time waiting until just the last second to get his pitch out there to Ike Lipsy. Watch now as Holt comes down the line of scrimmage, and he's running almost at full boat himself. There's the pitch at the last second, just beyond the defender. Lipsy can turn the corner, get outside, and picks up some good yardage.
First and 10. Grand Valley. There's that one-back formation again, and a little shovel pass to Sanders. This has worked twice now as Sanders will have the first down.
Well, this is the kind of offense that Grand Valley loves to run. They get you outside with the option, they loosen you up with a pass play, and then they run a little shuffle pass right up the middle and bust it for another great gain, another first down.
1st and 10, football across the midfield stripe and down now to the 47 of Saginaw Valley. The Cardinals have had their opportunities. They were down inside the 10 in the first half, had good field position here early in the second half, but there's still a goose egg on the scoreboard next to Saginaw Valley State University. This is Jamarl Island for 9, almost 10 yards before number 32, Rob Cook, makes another stop for Saginaw Valley. And the mark is short of the first down. It'll be 2nd down and about 9.
Oh, and an offensive coach's dream now. 2nd down and about 1 yard. You can do anything you want now, Mark. A lot of options here.
Quarterback Jack Hull has quietly gone about being unspectacular again, but added 2 more quarters to his total without an interception. He's working on his 39th consecutive quarter without an interception. That's a seasoned coach.
Well, that's the kind of quarterback, again, that a defensive coach loves. You just don't want your offense making mistakes and turning the ball over.
Well, we got people pointing back and forth at each other, and the officials are saying, no, the motion is against Grand Valley, so instead of 2nd and 1, now it's 2nd and 6.
Well, and that changes the situation again, obviously. Instead of that free down as described in the game of football when you're 2nd and 1, now you've got you got to think about 2 downs to make 6 yards here. Getting close to 4-down territory, but maybe not quite there yet. Actually getting close to field goal territory for the Lakers.
2nd down 6. Hull will throw. Good time, completes it out there, short of the first down. Incomplete, say the officials, as Todd Gisund apparently never did have control of the football. Well, incomplete.
I think a good call by the officials, as Gisund had the ball within his arm's reach, but he really hadn't closed in on it. Kind of bobbled it. It bounced off his chest and off his arms, and as the tackler was hitting him, he went to the ground. It bounced up again, and I think a good call. Incomplete.
So it'll be 3rd down and 6 facing the Lakers. Grand Valley is 4-0. Saginaw Valley is 2-2. Both play powerful, unbeaten football teams next week. Grand Valley is at Northern. Saginaw will host Ashland. 3rd down 6. Hull will throw. Waits and waits. And finally, Hull goes down. Loss of a couple of yards. Coverage sack by Saginaw Valley as nobody ever opened up.
Well, Jack Hull had the entire width of the field that time to run looking for somebody. He was able to outrun some down linemen that were in hot pursuit, but he just could not find anybody open. Then obviously reaching the sideline, turned upfield, got whatever he could back, but play goes for a loss.
4th down 6. Miguel Cigaro is standing back near his own 40. Fair catch is signaled for. And this ball bounces toward the end zone and is into the end zone and will come out to the 20-yard line. 8:25 still to play, 3rd quarter. Saginaw Valley dodging a bit of a bullet right there. They trail 10-0. Let's give some credit, though, Bill, to the Cardinal defense. They've done a nice job with Grand Valley here today. I know Tom Beck's not happy and might blame his offense a little bit for that, but Saginaw Valley's had a good defensive scheme, and they've been tough.
Well, they have been. The opening drive for the Lakers was excellent. I think about 70 yards, and they just marched the ball down the field 12 plays or so. But since that time, there has really been no consistency on the part of the Lakers. They've done some good things offensively. They've completed some passes and had some nice runs, but haven't strung them together to put a lot of points on the board today.
Here come the Cardinals again, trailing by only 10. Brent Alfano gives off to Mullins, the tailback, and he goes down in a pile. I saw Bland was there. Not going to be any gain at all. They'll mark it right at the 20.
Well, the same play that the Cardinals ran just a few moments ago when Mullins fumbled the ball, trying to go off the right-hand side of their offensive line, giving the ball to Mullins just kind of on a slant situation between the tackle and the end.
Scipio was the other Laker in on the tackle. It's second down and still 10. Alfano wants to throw. Now will keep, and is knocked out of bounds. Very close to a late hit on Grand Valley.
Boy,
Over
Alfano ends up all the way out on the track, Mark, and there's a metal curb that goes around the outside of the football field here that separates the track and the grass, and I think Alfano ended up rolling across that. Here you'll see the contact right at the sideline. There's the blow that sends him across the little runway, and there's the curb that he rolled on, hit his back on as he flew out of bounds.
And he is down, and back in the ball game will be number 5, Kyle Kennett, the freshman. He's trotted onto the field. Alfano is up and is apparently okay. And you hear he gets a nice round of applause from the folks over here on the Grand Valley sideline.
Well, the trainers seem to be checking his elbow, Mark. I thought he might have hurt his back on that curbing that went around there, but they were checking the elbow, and he seems able to run as he trots across the field and goes back to his own side. So not hurt seriously, we don't believe at this time.
Well, he started to run and then stopped and went to a dead little slow walk there, so I'm not sure he's 100%. And Brent Alfano may not be back. The sophomore out of Arthur Hill will walk off the field, and the freshman from Mount Pleasant, Kyle Kennett, 6', 180-pounder, is back in to guide the offense, and he'll start 3rd and 5. Football at their own 25-yard line. First down sticks are right at the 30. Kennett keeps it and has the first down.
Well, that time, Kinnick, running the option play, faked the ball to his dive man and started to the outside, but saw that it was closed up, turned the ball upfield, and went right up in behind his dive man, Mark, and made some good yardage. 6-7 yards, got the first down.
So Kyle Kennett, off the bench, earns the first down, mark it at the 32, and Saginaw Valley will go 1st and 10. Option again. This time they'll run the pitch to Mullins. And he's near the first down. Picks up about 9 before he is wrestled to the ground by Robert Hunt.
Well, Mullins taking the pitch now, turns the corner. Boy, it worries you, Mark, when you see the Laker defense is about 9 or 10 people up within 3 yards of the ball. And once the Mullins type ball carrier gets outside, and if he can split those 2 defenders that he runs through there, there's just nobody left. He's going to be gone.
Well, Brett Mullins almost broke one early on here. Picked up 25 or 30 yards, saving tackle by the Lakers. 2nd down 1 right here. And Grand Valley, pile of people up near the line of scrimmage, but Kyle Kennett manages the first down out near the 45 with it, where it'll be 1st and 10.
And once again, right at the start of that play, you can see how the Laker defense is just definitely playing against the run. They're expecting the run on almost every play, which has been typical of the Cardinals so far this year.
Scipio makes the stop. Jancic is down and hurt. Rolling around, and it's a wrist or an arm, I think, that he seems to be struggling with. Brett Mullins of Saginaw Valley, 8 carries, 63 yards right now. And you see them working over John Jancic. We will check on his condition and fill you in when we come back. Lakers 10, Saginaw Valley nothing.
For great food and a relaxed atmosphere, your best choice is the Goalpost Family Restaurant in Allendale. Mexican and American foods are our specialty. Join us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. We can accommodate groups of 10, 20, up to 250 with our group seating and banquet facilities. And you can always score great desserts at the Goalpost. Or if you choose, you can have ice cream right next door at the end zone. The Goalpost Family Restaurant on Lake Michigan Drive in Allendale.
The GVSU Department of Athletics thanks Meyer, WJQ Radio, WUHQ TV, and the Allendale Lions Club for their support of today's telecast.
Summer is the season for construction, and you can find all the tools you need at Fader Equipment in Kalamazoo. Everything from masonry drills to trenchers to bobcats are available for you to rent. But Fader also sells equipment like Bosch and Skill power tools, all at 25% off the list price. If you're a small contractor or a major industry, Fader Equipment is your source for all the supplies you need to get the job done right. Fader Equipment Incorporated, 2203 East Michigan, Kalamazoo.
Hi, I'm Monty Hall. Remember all the fun we had playing Let's Make a Deal on TV? Now you can play right over your touch-tone phone. Call 1-900-860-4332. Choose the right door and you can win great prizes. Maybe even a trip or two to the beautiful Tropicana Hotel in Las Vegas. But be careful. Choose the wrong door and... So call now, 1-900-860-4332. It's fun, it's exciting, you can win with every call, and you don't even have to dress up like a chicken.
$2 for the first minute, $1 each additional minute.
If you're having problems controlling your children or keeping yourself from hurting, and you don't know where to turn for help, call Boys Town's hotline, 1-800-448-3000. You'll talk to someone who understands and can help you find the help you need, fast and close to home. 1-800-448-3000.
John Jancic leaves the field under his own power. Apparently fine, the 6'5", 225-pound senior. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Cardinals of Saginaw Valley. Kyle Kennett, number 5 there, the freshman, is your quarterback. I formation behind him. Option right. Breaks a tackle, wants to pitch it, but there are just too many blue shirts hanging around him. And number 38, Charles Scipio, the man who makes the stop. Let's review again, Bill, for folks who are coming for homecoming 2 weeks from now on October 13th, the revised schedule. There you see Grand Valley's homecoming, October the 13th. 11 a.m. now will be the parade and the alumni lunch. 12 noon now is the football game. So move the football game up to 12 noon, and 9 p.m. is the alumni dance. That's all coming up on October 13th. Ferris in town for homecoming. Dive play 3 or 4 yards forward goes Brent Burris. And it's going to be 3rd down and still a ton facing Saginaw Valley. Bill Smith is there to make the stop from his middle linebacker spot. And looking over here on the sideline, I see John Jancic standing by himself, having a drink of Coke or something, and he seems fine.
Well, as you watch this game, and the time just seems to be going off the clock super quick, Mark, and that was one of the goals of Saginaw Valley. They wanted to slow the game down, slow down that scoring machine of Grand Valley, and they have done that. They just now need to get on the board themselves.
And it connects with his running back, Brent Mullins, and Mullins is hit by Bill Smith, can't keep his balance and steps out of bounds. It'll be 4th and short. George Eiler, the Saginaw Valley coach, said their goal in this ball game was to slow things up enough that they could take 2 possessions away from Grand Valley, and I would say they have certainly done that.
I think they have done more than that. I believe John Shute, our statistician, said 4 possessions for each team in the first half. That is not very many, especially for Grand Valley.
Schaefer's punt. Robert Hunt watches it bounce inside the 20 and will be down at about the 18-yard line. And the Lakers of Grand Valley State University are going to start right there. We should mention a whole bunch of thank yous, Bill, as always when we're here at Grand Valley. Dr. Aaron Lubbers, the president. Ron Van Steelen, the vice president. Dr. Mike Kowalczyk, the athletic director. Great gentleman, Don Thomas, and his staff, the sports information director, and in particular Kent Fisher, who babysits you and I on game day. Dan Carpanti, the assistant athletic director, who's always out here and working, and Mike Stadola, the facilities manager, the guy we've worked really the closest with. A thank you to all of those folks who helped make Laker football on 41 a possibility. 1st and 10, Grand Valley. Pitch play, option play, in fact. And boy, there's all kinds of contact. Interference will be called. Ted Munkin took the option pitch from his wide receiver spot. We had heard this might be coming. turned to throw the option, and as he looked upfield, the Laker receiver was simply blanketed by defensive players and buried, had no chance to catch the ball.
Well, I think Kevin Ford, the defender that is going to get flagged, realizes that this is a touchdown if he lets the receiver go, and he knows he's beaten. He knows that the play has just been diagnosed wrong, and he just decides, nope, I'm not going to let you go, pal. Give me the penalty, but you don't get the 6.
Well, and in college, that's not a bad penalty. It's a 15-yard mark-off as opposed to, like you say, perhaps 6 points for Grand Valley. And so the option keeps Saginaw Valley in it. It'll be a first down for Grand Valley. Mark it at their own 33. Jack Hull at quarterback. 4 minutes still to play in this third quarter. Ike Lipsy dives over the line for about 5 yards. Dragged down again from behind by a very active Gerald Harvey out of Grand Rapids playing for Saginaw Valley.
Well, a little sprint draw that time as quarterback Jack Hull takes the snap and just darts back, and Ike Lipsy just sits and waits in his offensive set position until the quarterback gets to him, and then he just flies up straight ahead as the linebackers back up, and he runs between the down defensive linemen.
2nd and 5. Hold to throw incomplete. Looked like maybe he thought Ted Munkin was going to turn outside, and Munkin turned inside. It'll be 3rd down 5.
Again, one of those timing passes when the ball is thrown before the receiver actually is looking. And as you said, Mark, a little miscommunication there as the receiver came inside and the ball was thrown outside.
Well, here's an odd stat for you, Bill. Coach Tom Beck has never lost a 5th game of the season. This is their 5th game of the season. I don't know if there's any magic to that or not.
I don't know. That's
so he's, 5-0 in 5th games of the season here at Grand Valley. 3rd down 5. Hull with good protection. Looks around, delivers it, incomplete. Good coverage over there by Saginaw Valley again. It's 4th down, and once again the Lakers are going to have to punt.
Well, good defensive coverage that time as quarterback Jack Hull delivered the ball, and he really put some zip on that one, Mark. Tried to thread the needle out there, but the Cardinal defenders all over the receivers, and the play goes incomplete.
We talked to Tom Waske, the sports information director from Saginaw Valley, before the game, and with the injury to their best defensive back last week, he said we're really suspect in the defensive backfield. I'm not sure we've seen that here today. Oh, a horrible snap. Sagaro chases it down inside his 10. It's still loose. And, boy, he needed to at least make sure he covered it. He does, but on downs it'll go over. And it's going to be Saginaw Valley football at about the 1-yard line.
Well, that snap just went sailing over the head of Miguel Sagaro. There you go. Never had a chance to even get a hand on it. He sprints back to try to cover the ball. He bobbles it as he tries to pick it up, and by that time the Cardinals are all over him, and the ball ends up being down on the 1, and of course first down. They're marking it on the 2 now. That must be where it was first touched. The Cardinals with an excellent opportunity on the bad snap, bad punt situation for Grand Valley.
And Saginaw Valley can start thinking upset if they could punch this in. It's 10-0 Grand Valley. 3.5 yet to play in the third quarter. And a timeout called by the Cardinals. Well, the freshman Kyle Kennett looked across the line and didn't like something.
Well, he looked up at the clock and must have seen something that he didn't like. Maybe he felt he was taking too much time or something. He didn't seem to look over the defense very long, so that didn't appear to be the problem. But somehow he decided, no, I'm not going to take any chances. Sometimes that's smart, Mark. If you have any doubts in your mind, any confusion at all, when you're down in a situation where you're going to get some points on the board, you want to make sure that everything is up to snuff.
And there is Kyle Kennett talking with George Eiler, the head football coach at Saginaw Valley. And I'm guessing you're exactly right that George Eiler is willing to allow him that timeout. And there a look along the sideline at some of the Laker coaching staff. Ron Essink, Jeff Quinn, Todd Munkin, Bobby Howard, Ryan Kelly, Charlie Kersowiak, Brian Van Gorder, Todd Tracy. All assisting Tom Beck. Here we go, 1st and goal for Saginaw Valley. Fans are making some noise. never saw the football, but Bland comes down with it, says it's his. The officials are apparently going to mark it at about the 2, and I think it's still Saginaw Valley ball.
Well, that active defense for the Lakers comes to the front here. There you see Mark Bland coming in, puts a good shoulder on the ball carrier, turns him to the inside where all his friends are, and there's a mob of blue jerseys. Mark Bland comes out of there with the ball. There must have been a little skullduggery down there underneath in that pile.
No gain. It'll be second down goal. Quarterback keeper touchdown, say the officials. Kyle Kennett stretched the football over the goal line and scores, and it's 10-6.
Well, Kyle Kennett pretty much does this all on his own, as it looks like there's a little mix-up here. It's good defense by the Lakers. The last man there, Robert Bell, just not quite able to hold quarterback Kyle Kennett from reaching out with an outstretched arm there and getting the ball to break the plane of the goal line. And the Cardinals have 6 points.
Kurt Albrecht will try the extra point. Boots it up and through the uprights. 2:45 still to play in the third. 10-7 our score now, as Grand Valley scores 10 points in the first half, and Saginaw Valley draws first blood here in the second following a big turnover by the Lakers. Kyle Kennett, the 2-yard touchdown scamper. Albrecht's extra point makes it 10-7.
Well, this is turning into crunch time now. Still 2 minutes 43 left in the third quarter, but the offense for the Lakers, Mark, has not been able to get the points on the board that they're used to. Their defense actually playing some great football today. This time the Cardinals get the ball on the 2-yard line by way of the over-the-head snap on punt situation, and they get 6 points, then the extra point, 7 points. We got 10-7 ball game, and things are tightening up.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll confess, this is a really strange ball game to me. I don't think I've ever felt like Grand Valley has been in anything but control of this football game, and yet here we are, 2.5 still to play in the third quarter, and it's just a 3-point game. Lakers will field it at about their own 15-yard line. And a good return out across the 40, and near midfield with it comes Ken Marnion. And it'll be 1st and 10 Grand Valley there.
Well, the Grand Valley players claiming a late hit over here on the sidelines as they're chewing on those officials down there. They'd like another 15 yards here. Let's move it down a little farther. They're not going to get it. Let's take a look now as the ball comes down the sidelines.
That's Marnion on the return.
He'll break it right here now for the sidelines. We'll get a better look at the action over here on the side from this view. Oh, that's good football. There's no flag there.
1st and 10 Lakers. Lynch. Maybe a yard across the 45. Not much more.
George Miller in there on the stop. The young man at a defensive tackle spot. We've called his name a number of times today. Got the start defensively for coming in off the bench the last couple of weeks, doing such a good job. 7 tackles now, John Shute tells us, for Mr. George Miller, 260-pound sophomore.
2nd down 9, Grand Valley. Jack Hull has 3 wide receivers and will throw. As it batted down at the line of scrimmage, almost picked off. Big number 97 got a paw in there, Derek Townsend, and teammate Mike Kostovsky had a shot at that football.
Well, here's the drop back pass situation. Those down people are just coming 100 miles an hour, Mark, and they're huge. They're big, they're tall, they've got a lot of beef up there, and they just work their way in towards the quarterback and are able to knock the ball down.
And just like that, it's 3rd down 9 facing the Lakers. Big play right here. Grand Valley doesn't want to give the football up. Hull sends it downfield, complete. John Sanders inside the 25 with it. Gain of 30 on the completion. 1st and 10 Lakers.
Well, that's execution at its best. Jack Hull sprints out from his quarterback spot here. Sees his receiver, John Sanders, come open, not quite in the middle of the field, but he's got plenty of room Oh, you get a good look at it. There's no defender around Sanders at all. He catches the ball easily, and the Lakers pick up that critical first down.
And our old friend Rob Cook, the middle linebacker from Saginaw Valley, delivered a hit on Jack Hall. 1st and 10. Lakers have it down at the 25 of Saginaw Valley. They lead 10-7. Late 3rd quarter. Hull will throw again. Over the middle, complete. Lynch still on his feet down inside the 10.
Well, the Lakers going to work offensively this time. It's Eric Lynch from his fullback spot. He gets open right over the middle. Just kind of sneaks through the defensive line, and quarterback Jack Hull will spot him, deliver the ball softly this time. Nice touch by Jack Hull. And then Lynch does the rest of it on his own. He eludes one tackle there and then just drives ahead when the down becomes inevitable here. He just leans forward and gets that extra positive yardage.
1st and goal, Lakers. Well, little motion in the backfield. Looks like both backs kind of took a little half stutter, maybe anticipating the count by Jack Hall.
Well, I thought the lineman went also, Mark. It might have been that the center snap was a little bit late. There are a lot of people moving.
Clock shows 1:04 still to play. There's Tom Beck, the very successful Grand Valley State University head football coach. 6 years here. He's 44-16. Overall, as a head football coach, 131 victories, 50 losses, 1 tie. He is number 3 among active coaches in the NCAA's Division II in winning percentage. 1st and goal still. Pitch play left John Sanders. Couple of yards. Gets it back near the 10. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Good pursuit by the Cardinal defenders that time as the Lakers tried to run kind of a power pitch sweep, but nowhere to go as the flow of the defense got over in front of the ball, moved laterally very well, got off their blocks, were able to stay in position. Good defensive coverage.
Second and goal from the 10. Hall wants to throw. Has some running room. Down inside the 5, marked at the 1.
Well, Jack Hull is going to take the ball back as though to pass. He does not look very long before he decides, I've got enough room. I'm going to leg this one down as close as I can get it. Heads for the sidelines. Good body lean. Gets the ball all the way down to the 1-yard line.
And the 3rd quarter has come to an end. The players will march about 98 yards to the other end of the field. 10-7, Lakers by a field goal.
The Field House at Grand Valley State University has been honored by Athletic Business Magazine as one of the finest university facilities in the country. In addition to Grand Valley State University students, the Field House facilities are also available to you and your family. The swimming and diving pool, the arena, the weight room, and special programs are open to the public. You can even browse through the latest in Laker fashions at the Laker Pro and Gift Shop. Contact the office at Grand Valley State University Field House and find out how you and your family can participate.
Earthwise 41, a special project of WUHQ TV 41.
Did you know it takes up to 500 years for disposable diapers to decompose in our landfills and over 1 billion trees annually to make those diapers? It's estimated that 3 million tons of untreated feces and urine end up in our landfills every year instead of in local sewer systems. Earthwise 41, tip number 11, use cloth diapers and diaper covers, thus saving groundwater from potential contamination by viruses. Prices are competitive with disposables, and diaper services will pick up and deliver cloth diapers. So switch from disposable diapers to cloth.
If you would like to know more, send a stamped, self-addressed envelope to Earthwise 41, care of WUHQ TV.
is going to be a big day.
Dick Clark is your host on the latest breaking game show, The Challengers.
It all depends on the strategy now, and the challenge is yours. Let's go play.
TV's first game show that's timely and topical.
Last week, this woman picked up the Emmy for Best Actress in a Comedy Series for what role?
It all adds up to huge cash winnings.
$80,000.
The Challengers.
Weeknights at 7 on 41. This is WUHQ-TV.
Well, some of the ugliest cheerleaders I've ever seen, Bill, trying to root the Lakers on. 10-7, Grand Valley State University leads by a tray, and they're knocking on the door. 3rd and goal from the 1.
Well, crunch time now for the Saginaw Valley defense as they need to put their stoutest defenders up there as they can't afford to give up any more points.
15 minutes to play here from Lubbers Stadium. Been a good football game. Lynch dives into the end zone. And the Lakers reestablish that lead, 16-7.
Well, Eric Lynch, the 6-foot, 210-pound junior fullback for the Lakers, powers his way into the end zone, spins his way into the end zone, gets that 6 points on the Lakers scoreboard. And Saginaw will be in position now to add the extra point.
Miguel Saginaw from Spain, the soccer player, boots it up and through the uprights. And with 14:59, it took 1 second, Bill, for the Lakers to tack on 7 points here in the 4th quarter and reestablish that 10-point lead, 17-7.
Well, that's the sign of a good ball club, Mark, one that has some adversity. The Lakers gave up the easy touchdown to their opponents by way of a mistake on a punt formation and a snap going over the punter's head, and they give up the quick little 1-2 yard touchdown. But then the offense just turns right around, marches the ball down the field. A couple of really crucial 3rd down conversions there that I thought kept the possession for them, and that's just a sign of good football. 7 plays on the drive, 2 minutes and 36 seconds and 66 yards. Good offensive drive.
And now I guess it's time that the Cardinals of Saginaw Valley will have to respond. We are early 4th quarter. There's still time for them to pull off the big upset, but they're going to have to move the football. 11 straight games now. Mr. Lynch has scored a touchdown. And he has something like 252 career points now at Grand Valley. He's the all-time leader. Lakers with good coverage on the kickoff. Saginaw Valley will start at about their own 23-yard line. And number 10, familiar Todd Wood, is down to make the stop for Grand Valley.
Well, the Cardinals have not really taken the ball offensively, Mark, and marched at the length of the field to score. They've got that 1 touchdown by way of 2 yards. They have had some good offensive plays, but once again, they have not been able to sustain anything and really just keep the ball and get some points after the possession.
The freshman Kyle Kennett still in at quarterback. 1st and 10. Option pitch to Mullins, and he's got 3 or 4 yards. Not much more. That option didn't look quite right as Kyle Kennett never did move down the line before the pitch at all and took everything he had just to get the football out there to Brett Mullins.
Well, he did pitch the ball very early, and maybe that was by design, trying to get the pitch man outside the defenders. As we have mentioned a couple of times, the Lakers are really playing up tight to the ball defensively. They have one defensive back that is about 6-8 yards away from the ball, but everybody else is right up on the line of scrimmage.
Near the first down sticks goes Kyle Kennett. They'll mark it just short. It'll be 3rd down and a couple. And again, Todd Wood is over there on the stop. Boy, Todd Wood has just had a wonderful game. 10 tackles out there. Had an interception that turned away Saginaw Valley at the goal line early on. He's been active on special teams. Just a wonderful game by that young man. So look down a tired Grand Valley bench. 3rd down 2. Kennett tries to send the option left. And boy, it'll depend on the mark. Very close. Brent Burris, the 213-pound power back, had the carry, and I can't tell where they've marked it. They're going to measure somewhere in that pile of people.
Well, they're going to bring it out and measure it. No, hard to see. Brent Burris averages about 4.3 yards a carry, Mark. About 76 yards a game coming into this one, and it is a first down.
Well, big play for Saginaw Valley as the Cardinals will keep possession. They trail by 10 with about 13:30 still to play in this one. And if they are to have any hope of upsetting the nation's #3 team in Division II, Grand Valley, they need to march it downfield here and punch it in. Been a beautiful fall afternoon for football. Record crowd here of about 5,400 people on hand, and they've seen a good football game. Kennett rolls to throw, but will keep. And boy, he got a great block over there. Number 44, Brett Burris, took out 2 Lakers.
Well, that was an excellent block, especially not knowing for sure if the quarterback is going to throw the ball or if he's going to run the ball. You have to hesitate as a blocker, as you can get called for the clip if that offensive man were to turn right at the last minute there. Just an excellent block, as you said, Mark. The block ended up taking out 2 of the Laker defenders.
8-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down and 2 facing Saginaw Valley. They're across their own 40-yard line and at the 42 now. Keeper by Kennett. Boy, he's a slippery little guy. Has the first down, breaks a couple of tackles, and Grand Valley's Robert Bell finally knocks him to the ground. But several Lakers had shots at Kyle Kennett. He's just hard to bring down.
Well, he's slippery. He's elusive. Got those quick feet, and of course that's what you look for in a quarterback. Someone that can move laterally once things break down a little bit. Doesn't go down easy. Has good vision of the field. Good vision as to where the defense is. You look for all of those things in your quarterback. Generally, quarterback's one of your best athletes on the squad.
1st down 10. Saginaw Valley. Option to the left. Kennett keeps and has 4 or 5 yards. He's tripped up from behind. Robert Bell again on the tackle.
Well, and Robert Bell just getting an ankle of quarterback Kyle Kennett. Kyle would have picked up another 10, 12 yards before the next defender was coming around.
Robert Bell has been very active. A dozen tackles now for Bell, says John Shute. And we appreciate John Schute's work on stats for us as always. We weren't sure John was going to make it here today. He was a late show, about half an hour before game time. 2nd down. Make it 5. Football is right at midfield. Here come the Lakers, and Kennett does a good job of avoiding the first wave of players and fighting for about 3 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
Well, let's take a look once again. Kyle Kennett. I don't know whether that's where he wanted to go, Mark, but as he came outside, there was a nice big seam open there, but it closed up in a hurry. Did not get the first down. Brings it up, as you said, 3rd and about 2.
And tackle number 9 for Charles Scipio of Grand Valley. Stops him 2 yards short of the first down. It's 3rd and 2. And there is the first down. Brent Burris, the freshman fullback, has the first inside the 45 and down to the 43 of Grand Valley. So Saginaw Valley is doing what they need to here. Taking them some time, but they're moving the football down the field.
Well, just as we said earlier, this is what they need to do. String some plays together. They've had their offense move the ball a number of times, but haven't been able to sustain it. This drive going along pretty good right now.
Dive back, another 4 or 5 yards. Goes Brent Burris. The real key on this drive has been getting 4, 5, 6 yards on first down.
And that's difficult to do the way the Lakers are playing defense, Mark. They have got, as I've mentioned a couple of times, about 9 people up 3, 4 yards from the ball. Only one defensive back really in a, what we would describe as a defensive back position. Everybody else is up tight.
2nd down 5. Boy, Kyle Kennett rode that with his back for the longest time, finally pulled it away, but had nowhere to go. Might have gotten a yard. It'll be 3rd down and still about 4. Robert Bell makes the stop.
Well, this is run like the old Belly series as you watch Kyle Kennett ride his dive back up there in the hole. I don't know whether he was going to give it and then pulled it back out or what.
Well, Bill Smith was wrestling the ball carrier down while the ball was still kind of being pulled in and taken out and backing in and out. And who knew where it was going? 3rd down, 4. Big play for Saginaw Valley, and folks offsides on both sides of the line of scrimmage, but I think the contact against Saginaw Valley.
Well, once again, I think that stutter count snap signal by the quarterback for Saginaw Valley has thrown the offensive lineman off again. We saw that happen twice in the first half.
And boy, there is a critical penalty against Saginaw Valley. Instead of 3rd and 4, they're 3rd and 9.
Well, it's especially critical against the Cardinals. As we have mentioned all day long, they are just not a passing team. Not that they can't pass, but that's not where they make their bread and butter. You just hate to get into a 3rd and long yardage situation.
Kennett will roll right, looks to throw. Pressure comes, and he'll make 2 or 3 yards, that's all. Bland makes the stop for Grand Valley. It's 4th down and 6. And Saginaw Valley probably has no choice but to go here.
Well, I think Kyle Kennett would like to throw the ball. He can't find a receiver open and spots some room up in the middle. Gets a few yards, but the swarming defense for the Lakers back into position quickly. They bring him down short of the 1st down mark. It's going to bring up 4th and about 6.
Bland in double figures now tackles as well. He has 10 tackles for Grand Valley. Here we go, 4th and 6. Kennett tries to run, eludes one tackler, gets nowhere near enough for the 1st down, and the Laker defense holds. The ball goes over.
Well, Mark, you were just mentioning that critical 5-yard penalty. It doesn't seem like a lot of yardage, but what a critical situation it was. What a tough spot that the Cardinals put themselves in.
17-7 Lakers.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Montgomery, your host on our weekly Preferred Realtors ERA Real Estate Showcase program, seen here on WUHQ-TV Channel 41 at 11:30 Sunday mornings and on many cable systems. Each week, I take our viewers on a visual tour of some of the many homes and investment properties in our area available through Preferred Realtors ERA of Kalamazoo. We hope you'll tune us in and go house hunting with us from the comfort of your favorite chair. I know you'll enjoy the tour.
Earthwise 41, a special project of WUHQ-TV 41.
Just because you buy something in a store doesn't mean it is safe. There are a surprising number of toxics in your home hidden in everything, including your household cleaning supplies. Earthwise 41, tip number 12, do a little detective work and switch from toxic to natural alternatives. Instead of using window cleaner, try water and vinegar. Or switch from oven cleaners that contain lye to water, layers of baking soda, and scrubbing with a fine steel wool pad. An alternative to furniture polish, mix olive or vegetable oil with lemon juice. Remember, watch for the hidden toxics and use earth-friendly products to clean your home.
Send a stamped, self-addressed envelope to Earthwise 41, care of WUHQ-TV.
I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed days, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
If you're not recycling, you're throwing it all away.
17-7, you see the score, and the Lakers preparing to snap, and there are flags everywhere. It looked like center Mike Sullivan might have moved the football a little, and the defense moved. And at any rate, we're marching 5 off against Grand Valley. 9:05 still to play in this ball game. Grand Valley 17, Saginaw Valley 7, and what has been a very good, competitive, very physical football game.
Well, it's easy to understand why there have been so many injuries with these two ball clubs. They do play physical style football, and they are big people. There are some great athletes out here.
Jack Hull is back to throw. Little screen right side. Completes it to Ike Lipsy, and Lipsy gets a yard or two, and that's it.
Well, a screenplay really set up pretty well, but Ike Lipsy just could never seem to quite get in motion, Mark, as he got spun around to catch the ball, and by the time he regained his footing and got himself in position to move upfield, there was a whole host of those Cardinal white and red jerseys out in front of him.
Lipsy and Lynch both leave the field. Bruner and Jamarl Island are the backs now behind Jack Hull on 2nd down and 13. And Hull will throw. Picked off. Hull's interception streak is stopped at 39 quarters. And Saginaw Valley back in this ball game.
Well, this is not like quarterback Jack Hull. He'll change his mind about 2 to 3 different times here, Mark. Ends up making a poor decision as he throws the ball kind of off balance, and his receiver, intended receiver, is covered. Number 2 makes the interception, Lorenzo Clark, and the Cardinals are going to end up with the ball at about the 41-yard line. Good field position. And they're just 41 yards away from putting another 6 points on the board.
Boy, just when you thought maybe Grand Valley would roll it out and put this ball game away, Saginaw Valley's right back in it. Tailback Brent Mullins is inside the 40, down to about the 39, 38-yard line. Gain of 2. 2nd down 8. And that string, very impressive string of 39 consecutive quarters without an interception for Jack Hull is snapped.
Well, you begin to wonder now how long before Coach George Eiler really has to open up his offense a little bit. He's down by better than a touchdown. He's got to score twice. Just 7.5 minutes left in this one.
Kyle Kennett, the freshman, still at quarterback, will throw. Boy, good protection. Launches it over the middle, and his tight end drops it. Marty Campbell, the big 6'3", 220-pound target. Maybe a little ring rust or something, but Marty Campbell should have caught that football.
Oh, he should have had that one. It was right on the numbers, and Marty Campbell just got to feel terrible as he came open coming across the middle of the field. Had about a 15 or 20-yard gain for his Cardinals if he'd have been able to hang on to that one. And the pass just bounced off his shoulder pads and falls incomplete.
Well, and a big guy like that in full stride may be able to lumber right into the end zone. Tough break for Saginaw Valley. 3rd down 7. Running play. Mullins doesn't have the first down. Picks up 3 or 4. Bill Smith is there, as is Todd Wood. It'll be 4th down at about 3, and Saginaw Valley obviously will go for it here. The football down at the 34 of Grand Valley.
Well, and as the clock winds down, we're going to say over and over again, I guess, Mark, critical play, but it just definitely is.
Some of the Grand Valley fans on their feet. 4th down 4. Blitz is coming. And goodbye, Mr. Kennett. Bill Smith, help from Robert Bell. And on downs, the Laker defense holds again, and the offense will get it back.
Well, that time the Laker defense put a little stun on, did a little wheeling and dealing up front, and it was very effective as there was just no effective blocking at all. And quarterback Kyle Kennett just never had a chance to get the play developed at all. I'm not even sure what it was supposed to be, Mark.
So it's 1st and 10 Grand Valley. 6:45 still to play. 10-point lead for the Lakers as, again, they'll try and control the ball, march it down, and punch in the score that can finally end this one. Hull gives to his first back, Eric Lynch, but Right there and tough on the defense again are the Cardinals of Saginaw Valley. Derek Townsend, number 97, on the stop. There to help was Rob Cook, number 32. Second down and still 10.
Winning ticket number 424. If you have that number on the last page of your program, please report to the announcers.
Wideouts to both sides of the screen as you look at Jack Hull, the junior quarterback. Dive play again, Eric Lynch. And Lynch has 3 or 4 yards out to about the 40-yard line. It'll be third down and still 5 or 6 to go for Grand Valley.
Once again, Derek Townsend, who has come in to play a defensive lineman position, a guard or a tackle, and done an excellent job. I think, 6 tackles now for Derek Townsend coming in a substitution role. He's been very effective.
Third and 6. Possession down for Grand Valley. Oh, looks to throw, has a man in stride, Ted Munkin. And Munkin gathers it in for the first down at the 45-yard line of Saginaw Valley.
Jeff Fishback on the stop, but what a great catch by Ted Munkin as he comes across the middle. Mark, that's one of those where you just know you're going to get smacked, and you got both arms reaching up for the ball. You're kind of super vulnerable there, giving up your body, but the concentration was there. Ted Munkin pulls in the ball, picks up the first down, and the Lakers keep this offensive drive alive.
Ted's brother Todd on the coaching staff here at Grand Valley. A former All-American at Knox College is brother Todd. Ike Lipsy will fight forward for 2 or 3 yards. Gerald Harvey again out of Grand Rapids Union makes the stop. He's had a good ball game for Saginaw Valley. It'll be second down and 7.
Brings up a
and
second
the important
and 7
thing if you're Grand Valley right now, that clock keeps on rolling. Down now at 4 minutes and 35 seconds still to play, and a 10-point Laker lead. Some of the crowd opting to leave right now. Figures this one's over, Bill.
Well, I haven't heard the fat lady start to sing yet, Mark. I think there's still some more football to play.
Lynch has the first down, but this one's coming back. There was movement in the Laker backfield before the snap. And we're going to come back and look at second down and about 12, I think, for Grand Valley. Motion call.
Legal procedure to call against Grand Valley. Be a 5-yard penalty.
Jack Hull, we mentioned his string of 39 quarters without an interception is over, but having a good game anyway. He's 11 of 19, 168 yards. And boy, he runs the offense just beautifully.
Well, the offense very well balanced once again for the Lakers. A lot of yards running, a lot of yards passing. Boy, that makes it tough on a defense. But credit these Cardinal defenders, Mark. They played some excellent football today.
Second down, 12. And again, movement. Left side of the Grand Valley line. It'll be second and 17. I was about to say just before that snap, it would take a lifetime just to learn Tom Beck's playbook.
Well, they sure have a varied offense. They can do so many things. And, you know, one of the surprising things, Mark, is generally Tom Beck likes to use a tight end formation, which he went away from with the loss of Mitchell, one of the returning All-American candidates that were on this Grand Valley squad. And they've gone to some different formations, some different running plays, different looks. And they're potent again, averaging 38 points a game so far this season, averaging right around 400 yards a game.
About 35 yards in penalties against Grand Valley now in this football game. Well down from the 90 yards a game they have averaged coming in here. Hull will throw again. Has good protection. Finally forced out of the pocket. Loops it ahead. Munkin makes a great catch. Flag goes down as Rob Cook caught the face mask maybe flying over the top of Ted Munkin. Well, that was an ugly play from start to finish.
It really was. Jack Hall's going to dance around back here and have a loose feet as he's looking for somebody. Can't find anybody. Runs a little bit and then just dumps the ball to Ted Munkin on the sidelines. And I don't know whether we could see the face mask right there, but a hand definitely up around the helmet area by the Cardinals.
Derek Townsend is down and injured for Saginaw Valley as the officials sort all of this out and mark a bunch of yardage off against Saginaw Valley. It's going to be a first down for Grand Valley, and the football will go all the way down to the 27-yard line of Saginaw Valley.
And I see the trainer for Saginaw Valley looking at Derek Townsend and working on a knee, and that is always scary. Gee, I hate to see that, Mark. That knees are just so critical, and man, oh man, you just hate to see a young man that's played as good a ball game as he has now late in this one and go down with that kind of an injury. Hopefully it's not too serious.
Well, both of these teams have certainly had their share of injuries this season. And you're right, you don't like to see that, and he's going to be helped off the field by a couple of teammates.
Boy, he's played a great ball game. Playing an outside defensive tackle position down, and has really done some strong work in there.
Well, it'll be first down and 10 for the Lakers of Grand Valley. The football is at the 27 of Saginaw Valley with 3 minutes and 35 seconds left to play. Lakers 17, Saginaw Valley 7. And a reminder, our next football game here from Grand Valley State University, October the 13th, 11 p.m., homecoming with Ferris. If you're coming to the football game, it will be a 12 noon kickoff. First and 10 Lakers. Long count, Ike Lipsy dances down to the 20, picks up about 6 or 7 yards. Boy, there was just an instant there where you thought maybe Ike Lipsy could bust that one. Then David Unger from DeWitt, the sophomore, closed in, knocked him down after a gain of 7.
Little quick popper right up the middle once again. Lakers are excellent at that. That's that offensive line opening up those seams.
Grand Valley working on a streak of 18 straight regular season wins and about 3 minutes away from number 19. Jack Hull runs the option, has Sanders. There's the pitch to Sanders. Inside the 10 and down near the 5 goes John Sanders.
Well, and really a pretty play once again as Jack Hull waits until the last second once again to get his pitch man with the ball, John Sanders. But credit Jack Hull as he faked the pitch the first time. Mark dipped inside, drew the defender to him, and then got the ball out there to Sanders, and he was able to go down the sidelines and move the ball to about the 6-yard line.
First and goal, Grand Valley. The Lakers have found the going very tough today against Saginaw Valley. But putting the finishing touches now on their 5th win of the season. Flags everywhere again before the snap. And most of the time that has meant that somebody got a little anxious on the offense for Grand Valley. Same thing again. Boy, they've had a number of those little 5-yarders today.
Well, this time I think it's going to be on Kirk Showers, who has come in at a tight end position for the Lakers. Normally, we mentioned earlier that normally the Lakers do play with a tight end formation. And when their good end was taken down with an injury, Mitchell, they went to more of a wide-out formation. But Kirk Showers will come in when they're down on the goal line when they definitely want to run. They get a power backfield situation, and they get Showers in there at tight end.
So first and goal now back from beyond the 10 into the corner. Touchdown, Michael Short.
Well, Michael Short finds himself open in the end zone as the Lakers did go to that power running situation. They had a power backfield set up. They ran action play towards the power end with their full house backfield back there. And then you see quarterback Jack Hull just spin, turn around, and wide open in the end zone is Michael Short.
23-7 is your score. Cigarro's extra point looks like it's going to be wide to the left. No good. And with 2:35 still to play, The Laker lead is 16 at 23-7, and finally Tom Beck can breathe a sigh of relief. They're going to win this football game, but I'm sure Tom Beck is not any happier right now than he was when he talked to you at the half with the way the offense has worked.
Well, when his offense had to put some points on the board, they definitely did perform, so he's got to be pleased about that, and I'm sure he'll talk to his young men about that. But as far as their total offensive production in this game, they really haven't been in sync. Something just hasn't been correct for them. On the other hand, let's credit a really gutsy defensive performance today by the Cardinals of Saginaw Valley. They have done an outstanding job of bending, as it's said so often, but not breaking against a traditionally super-minded offensive squad from Saginaw, or from Grand Valley.
Well, the touchdown drive that seals this one. 8 plays, 64 yards, took 4 minutes and 11 seconds for the Lakers. The 11-yard touchdown pass hauled to Michael Short. 23-7 Grand Valley. Miguel Saginaw now will boot it away. Short kick fielded at about the 22-yard line by Saginaw Valley. They'll bring it across the 30. And boy, again, who's down there on the stop for Grand Valley? Todd Wood, among others.
Well, you got to be crazy to go down in there. You know that there's a wall set up there as Saginaw Valley kind of runs the wedge on their kickoff returns, Martin. Somebody comes in there and dives down in the middle of it. Whew. A lot of humanity on the move right there.
Kyle Kennett comes up. This must be the 2-minute offense for Saginaw Valley. No huddle. And they'll throw. Complete out there. It's a little pitch and go. Brett Mullins streaks down the sideline, knocked out of bounds inside the 40. Well, the little hook and go with the lob back to the tailback, Brent Mullins.
Just what one defender that we've talked about, Robert Hunt, out there in order to make the stop, and he gets there. There you see Robert Hunt, number 4, backing up. Here comes the play, the little give and go, or the
flea flicker?
Little pitch, flea flicker, right? And Hunt now comes into your screen. He's the last man.
Going to be 1st and 10 for Saginaw Valley. The Cardinals thinking of scoring at least one more time, I guess. And movement all over, contact. Looked like Grand Valley initiated that. We'll wait and see.
Well, a couple of the Lakers jumped over there, so there may have been some movement, but definitely the contact initiated by Grand Valley.
Hooks on both sides are pointing the other way. I'm not sure the officials have decided yet. No, they're all going to talk about it a little more.
He did it. No, you did it.
Who did it? Who threw the flag? Well, obviously people from both sides were doing something, and the question is who did what first? And in the end, it's going to be Saginaw Valley that, well, now they're going the other way. First he headed Saginaw Valley's way, and then 5 yards against Grand Valley. In the end, it's 1st and 5. Football is at the 32 of Grand Valley. 1st and 5 for Saginaw Valley. Clock shows 2:19 still to play. Everybody up on the line of scrimmage for Grand Valley. Kennett wants to throw. Incomplete. Boy, everybody was coming.
Well, things are a little heated here. This game has been extremely physical, as we've mentioned a couple of times, and players on both sides of the line getting a little tired now and getting a little edgy with each other as time runs down.
It'll be 2nd down, 5. Clock stopped, only took 3 seconds for that play. Lakers 23, Saginaw Valley 7. And the Cardinals are going to remember some squandered opportunities as they had a chance to be really right in the thick of this ball game. 2nd and 5. Everybody up on the line again for Grand Valley. 9 players at the line of scrimmage. Tossed toward the end zone and incomplete. They were trying to find Aaron Rubio, who didn't run a very good pattern, coverage over there by Todd Wood, but Aaron Rubio, instead of just flying toward the end zone, is running and kind of looking and half speed and never got to the football.
Well, exactly. You've got to run that fly pattern, which is what that is. You split a man out and you just tell him to fly, get to the end zone. The quarterback knows he's got that pressure in his face, and he just throws the ball up, and hopefully the receiver can run under it. But that time, Rubio just did not turn the jets on, didn't get to the ball.
3rd down 5 facing Saginaw Valley. Tossed over the middle and incomplete. Tipped by Robert Hunt, I think, number 4. And it'll be 4th down 5.
Well, Kyle Kennett just has no time at all.
Yeah, you're right.
The defense right up in his face as the Lakers commit 7-8 men at least to the pass rush here. The receiver corps for the Cardinals, they only send out 1 or 2 receivers, Mark, so you can afford to do that. You can commit all those people, and Kyle Kennett steps back, and he's got blue jerseys in front of him right away.
4th down 5. Same look again. Whole bunch of Lakers up there on the line. A little more time this time. It's batted up in the air and intercepted. I think it's number 98, Jim Kramer, who gets the interception. It is.
Well, Robert Bell, I think, was the one that was in there, stunning from an outside linebacker spot, putting pressure. Let's see if we can check out who tipped the ball. There you see Kyle Kennett with his drop. And into your screen, you should see number 32 right there, who does jump up. That's Robert Bell. Bats that ball down, and see if we can see who makes the interception.
Yeah,
I still didn't pick up the number.
I am sure that it's Kramer. It is Jim Kramer, number 98. John Shute says yes. 1st and 10. Grand Valley, they'll try and run out the last 2:03 in this football game. Jack Hull is still your quarterback. Ike Lipsy on the counter. Boy, gets back to the line of scrimmage, and not a whole lot more. Playing tough to the end, the Cardinals, and they'll use a timeout here to stop the clock.
No quitting the Cardinals, that's for sure.
No, don't tell George Eiler and his boys that this game's over.
A lot of people walking out of here, but as you said, the Saginaw Valley players say, nope, we're not done.
Next Friday night again, great high school football game here on 41. As you look at Tom Beck, talk to his quarterback Jack Hull. We will be at Hastings to see a showdown in the Twin Valley. The Lakeview Spartans go to take on the Hastings Saxons. Lakeview, I think, 4-1 right now. Hastings is 5-0. Both teams are unbeaten in the Valley. And a showdown for the conference crown next Friday night, 11:30, Lakeview at Hastings.
Well, the Spartans of Lakeview had a squeaker last night, Mark, 28-26 over an Albion team, and Hastings shut out Marshall.
I think 14-0.
14-0.
Something like that.
Should be a great ball game. Hastings has got some great size and an excellent running back. A young man that they moved out of their offensive line, was an offensive guard until this year, moved into their backfield and has been well over 100 yards since he made that move, and is a real powerhouse running threat.
Well, we haven't done all of our homework yet on that game, but he was moved after they had an injury to a very fine running back there, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Exactly. He was a returning Twin Valley All-Conference player and picked preseason to be an All-State candidate and was injured.
Hull looks to throw. Pressure is coming. Tosses it incomplete over the middle. Intended for Steve Bruner. And, boy, he was very close to the line of scrimmage.
I was going to say, I think that the official marked where the ball was thrown from. And I thought for a minute was going to call the illegal pass, as he was right at the line of scrimmage.
No flags. I saw Jack Hull shaking hands after that play with Rob Cook, the linebacker from Saginaw Valley. They've run into each other a few times tonight.
A few times, yes, literally. Two excellent football players, by the way.
3rd down. Still 9. Still 1:45 on the clock. It's taken a long time to play these last 3 minutes. Lakers close to the 1st down as Fuad Zeban, his first carry of the night, will be marked at about the 41-42 yard line. It'll be 4th down short. And a timeout called by Saginaw Valley stops the clock. I think that might be their final timeout. And with 1:37 still to play, the Lakers will be forced to punt, give it back to Saginaw Valley one more time.
Well, the Cardinals would love to finish on a positive note. I'm sure they'd like to put a few more points on the board. They played an excellent ball game, and they have been a difficult team over the years for the Lakers. They seem to have a number. They come in here, they are really inspired and played excellent football. The record really doesn't show how difficult some of the games have been.
No, not at all. This is the 16th game in the series, and after this one's over, Grand Valley will have won 12 of those 16, including now 5 in a row. Saginaw Valley is 1-8 here at Lubbers Stadium. I was asking, well, you were down on the field. I'll tell you in just a moment after this punt. Miguel Cigarro stands back at his own 28. Bounces back to him, does a good job of fielding it. And the boot will hop along the field and be down at about the 29. Talking with Dr. Aaron Lubbers at the half while you were down on the field with Tom Beck. And I told Dr. Lubbers the one thing I had to ask him was, what's it like to have a field named after you while you're still alive? Most guys don't have that happen until they're deceased, if at all. And his answer was that he always thought it was one of those kind of strange things since he never played football.
Well, that's a great tribute to a gentleman. Must be recognized by this community of the campus and the school as being a prime mover as far as the athletic program is concerned. He certainly has a field to be proud of. Anybody could be proud to have their name on this facility.
All right, here comes Saginaw Valley. Final 90 seconds of the game. They trail by 16. Kennett wants to throw. It's tipped over the middle and incomplete. Getting his big hands on it again was Robert Bell, the senior from Ottawa Hills. He's had a good ball game.
And this time the Lakers go into a little bit of a prevent defense as they did not commit all those people up front. Had some defensive backs 10, 15 yards off the ball. Maybe looking for that interception a little bit now.
Well, one good thing, I guess, about this long last 3 or 4 minutes gives the parking lot time to clear out a little bit for us. Second down 10, Saginaw Valley. Kennett with three wide receivers. Pressure from behind. Incomplete, say the officials. From behind, he took a big hit from Eric Thornton just as the arm started forward, and it'll be 3rd and 10.
Well, this one looks like it's thrown to the official this time as Kyle Kennett gets hit from behind. Just as he's going to deliver the ball, you'll see the Lakers come into your picture here. From behind, there's the ball going forward, and the pass to the official goes incomplete.
The official took that right off the leg, I think. Crowd here being reminded again, the homecoming game 2 weeks from now against Ferris has been moved to 12 noon. 3rd down 10, Saginaw Valley. And we got flags everywhere again.
And I think this time it'll go against Pat Fox, the huge offensive guard for the Cardinals. 340 pounds. Man, I've been watching him in this ball game, Mark. He moves. He's got good quickness. An excellent blocker up there.
Something tells me that we saw Pat Fox, and he may have been on one of our 41 All-Star teams in the early years of our coverage of high school football here at TV 41.
Well, man, that size, you would think that we would remember, and I have to admit I did not.
I remember the name. 3rd down 15, Saginaw Valley. Right up the middle. John Johnson doesn't find much, and it's 4th down, and the punt team comes on. 1:05 left to play, and Saginaw Valley's content will let the clock move. Charles Scipio makes another stop for Grand Valley. And the Lakers are just going to have to field this punt and run about a play. Robert Hunt takes it at his own 32. Is out near the 40, and the Lakers will go 1st and 10 there. Grand Valley got on the scoreboard first, a 6-yard option carry by Hull. Segarro's extra point was good, and after the initial drive of this football game, Grand Valley looked great on offense, led 7-0. Stayed that way until the second quarter. 27-yard Segarro field goal, 10-0 at the half, Grand Valley. Third quarter, following a big turnover, Kyle Kennett took it in 2 yards for Saginaw Valley. The extra point good, 10-7 at that point. And 2 Grand Valley scores here in the fourth quarter. A 1-yard Eric Lynch touchdown run, extra point good. An 11-yard Hull to Michael Short pass, extra point wide. That's where we stand. 23-7 Grand Valley. Final minute of play. Carry again, number 23, Fuad Zeban. Has 4 or 5 yards. And the clock continues to run. And perhaps one more play. Maybe not. I didn't see where the officials set the clock, but the Lakers don't seem to have any intention of running any more off. Still 15 seconds showing on the clock, but the players are on the field. And we'll count down to a victory for the Lakers of Grand Valley. Their 19th in a row in the regular season.
Well, a great ball game for the Lakers as once again they came out, and it looked as though their offense had gotten on track. First offensive possession, moved the ball right down the field and scored. But from then on, a very stubborn defense by Saginaw Valley slowed things right down, and we had a great ball game.
Final thoughts from Lubbers Stadium coming up. Grand Valley wins this one, 23-7.
He chops, he cooks, he dices, he slices, he gallops again. Graham Kerr, television's most famous chef, puts a smile in your diet with a half hour of healthy food and high-energy entertainment. Graham Kerr, he's a one-of-a-kind chef with a one-of-a-kind show. Graham Kerr, television never tasted so good.
Weekday mornings at 9 after Good Morning America on 41.
Imagine yourself in an emergency. Your survival depends on fast, accurate treatment. That's why you should depend on Medical Alert. Millions do. An emergency responder's call to Medical Alert tells them your medical conditions, current prescriptions, drug allergies, family and physicians. Information that could save your life. To learn more, call Medical Alert. 1-800-ID-ALERT. That's 1-800-ID-ALERT.
Back one final time from Lubbers Stadium on the campus of Grand Valley State University. Mark Crawford, Bill Brandell, glad you've joined us for Laker football here on 41. And you see our final score. Grand Valley defeats a stubborn Saginaw Valley club. 23-7 is your final. And Bill, as we looked over the idea of who might we highlight in postgame here in the way of players, for Grand Valley, it's all defensive players. The linebackers, Scipio, Bell, and Smith combined for 32 tackles. The cornerback, Wood, what a great football game. 13 tackles plus an interception. Bland, the defensive end for Grand Valley, 9 stops. Just some great performances by the Laker defense again.
Well, my kind of football 2 times in a row here on our 41 football coverage, Mark. Defense dominates both sides of the ball, but you're right, the Lakers were just excellent with their defense. They came in to try and stop the option running attack of the Cardinals, and they definitely did that. They had people up in the Cardinals' face all day long, 8, 9 people within 3 yards of the ball continually, and once again, probably the reason for all of those tackles that are credited to linebackers, cornerbacks, and so on, because they aren't right up on the line of scrimmage, and they were right in the middle of the play, and they took that running game away from the Cardinals, and it paid off for them because the offense was slowed down today, and the defense came out in front once again. Kind of strange for Coach Tom Beck's profile for his team to have his defense really take most of the credit.
You think that's kind of a healthy competition, though, for a team to have the offense and the defense both striving to be the controlling factor within a football team?
Well, I do, and I think that it's got to be healthy competition. You kind of pit one against the other, and they both want to dominate. They both want to be the headliners, so to speak, for a ball game, and the offense usually takes over in Tom Beck's place, and they get their name in the paper, and they get the headlines with the large amount of points that they score and the fantastic plays. But so far this year, the defense has held their own.
Okay, the next action for all of us here on 41 is coming up, of course, this coming Friday, 11:30 is game time. Twin Valley Showdown, Lakeview and Hastings.
Well, that's a good one for me, Mark. My Lakeview Spartans against the Saxons of Hastings. Both teams undefeated in the Twin Valley. Lakeview with one loss on the full season schedule, but the Hastings have a perfect record right now, so that just ought to be a great ball game.
And then next time we are here at the campus of Grand Valley State University, Laker football on 41, October the 13th. 11 o'clock, it'll be Ferris and Grand Valley homecoming. That ought to be great.
Well, once again, we expect a big crowd for homecoming here. An early start, reminding folks once again, that one will start at 12 o'clock here at Lover Field.
All right, Grand Valley State University Laker football here on 41 is brought to you in part by the Goal Post Restaurant on Lake Michigan Drive in Allendale. For Bill Brandell, I'm Mark Crawford. Thanks for joining us. Again, final score, Grand Valley defeats Saginaw Valley 23-7.